Hello, and welcome to the Nightmare Fuel podcast. I'm Reese, and as always, being joined by Hagbard Celine.
As always and forever, Reese.
As we frolic through a field, through a meadow. That should be a fan art that someone makes.
Someone needs to make that fan art.
Something that's actually happening behind the scenes that I think is funny is some of our fans are attempting to make a fighting game about us.
What?
Yeah, that's gonna be funny.
Fantastic.
Apparently, it's just gonna be us fighting at first, so you're probably gonna kick my ass, but that's okay. We'll gradually introduce someone else to beat up on.
Yeah, well, we can have Brett Keane and all these other things, but I think,
Jesus.
didn't the drunken peasants do that? Isn't this bordering on, like, theft?
Oh
well, we're better than they are anyway.
Yes, that is true. I don't want to toot my own horn because I'm on this show. It sounds so narcissistic, but really, it is the best podcast around.
By far.
Can't get much better.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
So, actually, I know we've been doing a lot of shows, and this is going to be another show we're doing today. We're also going to be doing another show tomorrow, and that
Fact.
is our interview with Poisoning the Well, and they're going to come on, and we'll torture ourselves even further. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a dense schedule, but it's been fun.
Yeah, we're probably next week's gonna be a bit more, not as much going on, probably.
Yeah, probably.
The show with Poisoning the Well is going to start at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and people should tune into that as well.
Indeed.
But with that, we're already breaking out the drinks.
Oh, no, that's just carbonated soda water. It's way too fucking early to drink. Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man. You're gonna want some after this. All right, let's get into some videos.
Our
Why
lineup.
not? That's kind of what happens here.
This is our lineup.
I feel like bad videos just kind of ambush us, but that is what happens.
They just show up out of nowhere.
Ah, no, anything but you. All right, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do Gavin McInnes.
Oh, we're gonna start off with that, huh?
I'm getting this out of the way. To be fair, I need to clarify every time we fucking do this, because I know, listen, fanboys, I know that Gavin's the most wonderful thing in the world. I understand. But at the same time, and I don't want to do 2 shows in a row where we talk about Gavin. I really don't. But this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous video that needs to be discussed. Yeah.
All right.
He attacks Bill Maher in this video.
Oh, well, yeah, that's gonna end well.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I confront people politically, I realize they've never done this before, and they always say, you got to talk to Bill Maher. That's their Mike Tyson. So as you beat them, they go, you should step in the ring with Tyson, because that's their god. They're all atheist liberals, but they worship a messiah.
They always say that about no matter who it is they're discussing at that point. Whoever it is they have a problem with, it's because they have a messiah complex. I mean, really, your need for a messiah does not entail my need for a messiah, friend.
It's fucking ridiculous. Gavin is the messiah to so many people.
Mm-hmm.
How can you make this claim when you have dick-riding fanboys at the wazoo?
Yeah, well, and at least Bill Maher doesn't have a beard like all the other prophets. Come on, man.
It shows a disconnect from the conversation, because Bill Maher, don't get me wrong, he's popular, but is he really the forefront of the atheist movement? He's not Sam Harris. He's not Dawkins. I mean, he's known, but is he really hailed as like, this is our guy, this is the only one?
Yeah, exactly. Wherein, Gavin is held that way for several people. I think people mistake popularity and humor for actually having point. I mean, this guy's... I'm never sure with him. I always feel like he's got to be fucking around.
Yeah, but then, I don't know. I think that a lot of times that could be the case, but then a lot of other times it's just used to cover up his fuck-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, it was just a joke, guys. It's like, well, how many accidental jokes can one guy make? Like, really?
All of them, apparently.
Every single time.
Called Bill Maher. And when you hear him talk, you go, Jesus, you had a team of researchers helping you with all your points, and you still screwed up this badly? Are they all interns? Who are these people?
Well, yeah, probably. Do you know how professional studios are run, friend? Oh, wait, no, you work here.
Oh, low blow.
Now, Matt Palumbo is my favorite economist, young man, making his way in the world, a newbie on the scene. And we went over this video that's really popular on Facebook. And the mistakes are just glaring. And the most common mistake with Maher and the Obama idiots is, well, things have been getting better since cave days. So what are you complaining about? It was this when Obama was in office, and it's this now. Ergo, things are better. We're not fighting saber-toothed tigers.
What?
Okay.
Was that a point?
I think that was more of that attempted comedy.
Is he saying that because there are some people that say that we are in a better position now than we were under Bush, that it's Obama's fault? Is that what he's implying?
That's the point he's getting at. The reason that's relevant is we are actually doing a little better, and that is worth discussing. And the reason it's worth discussing is because people try to claim that under the Obama administration, things have just gone to shit. Things were wonderful before, and then as soon as we elected a black guy, oh, America just went down the toilet.
Yeah, seriously. It's not quite that simple.
He didn't ruin America. That's the best thing you could say about this guy. We didn't break a 100-year record of being slightly better every year. You see this, by the way, with the EPA. They go, the EPA came on board, and the air's cleaner now. What are you complaining about? Yeah, the air was already getting cleaner. Everything's been going at 45 degrees, despite the naysayers. Our problem is that the 45 degrees took a hit. And when the EPA came on, we had already been doing fine before you. It's like when boomers...
Okay, well, that's just patently untrue.
I just don't understand, like, the air was getting better, like, by itself. You know, the air just kind of heals itself. It's fine. We don't need to actually do anything about it. The Industrial Revolution
it's not even
was
the
really
air.
good
I mean,
for
if you want
atmosphere.
to be really honest, there were rivers that were burning on a fairly regular basis from the coal factories. So no, it wasn't okay. Someone had to eventually say something.
We don't need all these regulations because people learned the folly of their ways, and the companies were going to do this themselves. They didn't need people jumping down their throats. They were well on their way to helping the environment.
Yeah, clearly.
They were like, you know what, guys? They formed a coalition. We're going to put profits to the side. We need to save the world. That's
fracking is safe and healthy.
Yeah, that's always oil and coal companies. That's what they're all about.
Yeah.
Say, well, we invented the black middle class. Actually, blacks were doing okay before you came along, boomers. And in fact, if we compare it to whites, your trajectory sort of seemed to take a hit when you guys came in and helped the blacks. But let's go over this Bill Maher video point by point.
Okay, this is where it's going to get really weird, because it's videoception.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we're on, like, layer 3 now, aren't we?
Gavin's joining us as a guest now.
We're like someone criticizing a video in a video. This is good.
This is how it goes.
It's shocking what he gets away with. All right, play it.
It seemed to me there was just an amazing conspiracy of delusion.
Look at the big writing, too. That's like what they do for kids' books.
They talked about the world.
This isn't a React channel, dude. You need to pause.
He pauses eventually, but for this first little bit, he just kind of, I don't know, he throws in little quirky remarks. You know, look at the big writing. I wish the writing was smaller so I couldn't read it. Like, what?
Well, and he acts like right-wing little memes like this aren't just as big, overblown, and goofy. He acts like there's not a giant rebel symbol behind him and a giant rebel symbol on the bottom left-hand corner here.
Yeah, there's that. Like, I don't. Yeah, now you point that out. How can he say that? And oh, look at the big writing. You have the rebel just boom right on the screen.
Seriously, it's right behind him and it's at the bottom. It's not like he's any better. It's just this is how people construct these things.
It's kind of this. this mentality of, oh, I'm criticizing a video and I feel the need to chime in. You know, I want to add my own content, but I don't actually have anything of substance to say, so I'm just going to point out what's right in front of me. Just like the most basic observations. Hey, look over there, guys. That writing's pretty big. Like, oh,
Yeah.
did that contribute anything? Where are we now? Where is this conversation going?
Like I said, it's a React channel at this point.
Ugh.
As if it's on fire, and America is in the toilet, and other countries are killing us, and the only debate was whether Obama has ruined America on purpose or by accident.
I'm going to go by accident.
Trump's
Look at the
slogan,
sycophants
"Make America
laughing.
great
They're
again."
as bad
They
as
all
the
have a
audience.
version of that, which is basically we have to restore things the way.
He acts like he delivers fair and balanced news.
Yeah, and again, weird criticism. Gavin, you have sycophants.
Yeah,
You have sycophants
but his
who suck
sycophants
your
are
dick
balanced
all the
fans.
time.
That's all. He just has fans. Bill Maher has sycophants.
Oh yeah, I like how that works. Look, listen to the sycophants laughing. They're just eating it up.
They work. Wait, let me read some statistics here. Jeb Bush, here's a great one. There's not a place in the world where
Oh, come on, Gavin. Don't pretend like you're taking notes.
It's like he's not even paying attention
That's
to this
fucking.
point. Like,
That's just sad. Don't pretend like you need to take notes over this.
oh, he said Jeb.
This isn't like a.
Bush.
This is like what you do in a political debate, not a reaction to a fucking Bill Maher joke. For fuck's sake.
a video that's like a minute long that he presumably already watched.
Yeah, but he's got to make some notations here. It's super important.
Oh, I forgot to take the notes before I made this video that's going on the internet. Shit.
we're better off today.
Now I've got to
than
defend
6.5
Jeb Bush.
years
Thanks,
ago.
Maher.
Okay, you know what? There are things called facts. You can actually measure shit. I know it's not. No, it's.
Ha ha ha! Facts.
I know facts aren't in the Bible, but can't we use?
Wait, of course, that's very telling, by the way, that he attacks the Bible and avoids the Quran and the Torah. You know that the whole attack on the Republicans.
You do know that he gets lambasted for regularly slamming Islam, right? This is a non-point.
That's a point I wanted to make. How disconnected can you fucking be? Bill Maher's most popular video on his channel is the one with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he's known for taking the piss out of Islam.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So here's the stance, basically. And this seems to be a thing that goes around. A lot of people have this thought. But basically, if you make any criticism of, like, Christianity or the Bible, oh my God, are you equating that with Islam? Why aren't you talking about Islam? Islam is like, no. Can we, okay.
I say, no, I can mock you too, lunatic.
I talk about Islam here. Okay, now separate that. Imagine the separateness. Now I'm talking about Christianity. I reference the Bible. Why? Because we're in fucking America. That's why.
Because Islam represents about 1% of our population.
No one in America gives a shit about Islam.
No, it's hard to get any Americans to give a shit about Islam.
And it's a fucking joke.
That's the other thing. I love it when people do it with jokes. I mean, You're spending time to politically criticize a joke that Bill Maher is making. I mean, there are times when Trevor Noah makes worse jokes than Bill Maher. Trevor Noah makes non-jokes that people just somehow nervously titter at. And I mean, at least these are panel members that are laughing.
Yeah, I mean, is it the most gut-busting joke ever? No.
No, is
But,
anything
at the
on
same
network
time,
television?
it's recognizable as a joke. It's not like... I wouldn't sit here like Gavin, like, I'm confused. Why is he attacking Christians? Like, what? That has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Is really attack on Christians. That's a big part of his dig. All right, go ahead. Ha ha! Christians are so
just read
stupid.
the facts to these people who think we have
They don't
to
believe in
restore to the
dinosaurs.
time before Obama.
Don't let them run the country.
These are facts from.
Okay, get.
What the fuck?
So he extrapolated from that somehow all Christians don't believe in dinosaurs, which is like complete bullshit. And so Christians that don't believe in dinosaurs shouldn't run the country. Well, I guess I agree.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, I would agree. Anti-science human beings should not be running nations. No.
That doesn't sound like a recipe for success. But I don't understand. He's gone so off the top, so off topic. I hate this when it happens in React videos. Like, he's pretty much not even reacting. He's just kind of having a conversation with himself while this plays, and it's hard to focus. There's like two things happening at once.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
help. He doesn't pause very often.
No, it doesn't.
Ready to
Last
pause
year
after
to
each one.
now. Unemployment, 7.2, now down to 5.1.
Okay, I already have a problem with that. I don't think it's down to 5.1. I think it's 4.9. And the major mistake here is he's forgetting how many people dropped out of the workforce because things were so bad. Disgruntled workers, discouraged workers. The U6 employment rate is where we combine unemployed and discouraged workers, and that's hovering around 10%. Now, unemployment should always be going down. We should always be getting better. And Obama's success rate has been pretty darn bad. Another much more successful way to measure this is to look at recoveries. And if you compare...
So what you're saying is that we shouldn't... You have a problem with the actual measurement system he's using.
I think that's what he's getting at. That's what it sounds like.
Well, that's the metric that has been typically applied. It's only in the last maybe 5 years we've started applying these other metrics. This is on you, man. This is you trying to shift positions because you can't win the debate using the tools you were given.
You know, if we change the measurements, maybe the numbers will come out in my favor.
I mean, you could have stopped earlier and just been 100% honest and just said that, there are people that are not being included in that, which is why in the last year we've actually had a rise in unemployment rates. Because the market has, quote-unquote, recovered enough to encourage people who were once discouraged to join. And when they join the workforce and start applying for jobs, they officially get counted as unemployed instead of just discouraged.
Yes, that's a good point. That should be taken into account, but I don't think that hasn't even crossed his mind at this point. That hasn't even been brought up.
No.
Compare Obama's recovery with the past 10 post-war recoveries, you see he has the worst recovery. You want to see a good recovery? Check out Ronald Reagan. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, really? We're going to compare America in the 1980s to America in 2015 with any sort of relevancy?
They had money in the 80s.
That's not even a relevant comparison.
And, talking point, under Reagan economics, they really helped. It's like, oh, Gavin, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Reagan was the best.
And the thing is, Bill Maher and us are not, probably Bill Maher more than us, we're not Obama apologists. We've criticized Obama on this show.
Yeah, and I'll continue to do so, because I disagree with many of his policies. I think he actually is one of the most authoritarian presidents we've ever had, in spite of the demeanor he tries to show that he's not.
That's true. We disagree with many of his policies. But one thing that you can say undeniably is that we are in a better place.
Well,
now,
and blaming economic recovery or collapse on a president is like laugh out loud fucking funny. It's absurd.
Yeah, not everyone can be Roosevelt. Come on.
It's completely absurd. Even blaming Roosevelt for recovery is absurd. He may have instituted policy, but other people had to go through with it as well. Other people had to actually implement it.
Yes.
Yeah, no. You'll tire yourself.
Stop clapping. You'll tire yourselves out. I'm so good.
Gas price, $3.24 down to $2.31.
All right, stop. I don't agree with that either. My estimates are the gas price was as low as $1.86. The average for the previous year was $1.94. And yes, gas has been down recently. This is another thing he does. The chart goes like this, and then it goes down. He zooms in on that one part where it's down and blows that up to be the whole graph. It's the kind of trick kids do. You know, when you ask a little kid, like my kids, will go, "What's 8 times 7?" They'll go, "What? Oh, me? Oh, you want me to do? Oh, me to do 8 times 7? Oh, that's 56." Buying time.
But
What?
he really seems to just be flailing in this video.
I don't what was that? What he's talking about his kid 8 times 6. What?
Yeah, he ironically appears to be basically doing what he's accusing Bill Maher of doing. He was just buying time. He didn't really have a statement to make there.
And I don't actually know the stats for the gas prices. I mean, they fluctuate. It's whatever. But the thing is, does Obama have direct control over this? Not really. It's a complicated process that involves oil, oftentimes from other countries.
Yeah, but
often-
Obama has direct control over the gas prices. Let's be serious. Everyone knows
Yeah, he's
that.
in the Oval Office, and one day he's just like, you know what? I'm going to put it up 2 cents just to fuck with them.
You know what? I'm going to be celebrated as the president that forcibly lowered gas prices.
He made him sound like Bernie.
I know. I don't know why I did that.
Okay, we're gonna raise the gas prices. Fuck
There you
you,
go.
America.
You have a better Obama than me.
It's not very good.
It's better than
So-
mine.
So the reason that gas prices are down is because OPEC flooded the market to wipe out shale producers, to knock out fracking. Fracking is doing real well. I think we get about 80% of our natural gas from fracking. It seems to work okay.
So he's fine with it then. Okay.
Wow. Okay. I forgot that came up. That's amazing. So basically, fuck the environment, fuck everything, fuck America, just fuck it all at that point.
No, just
Wow.
just burn it down. It's fine.
You know what? There's 2 things that I love: Ronald Reagan and fracking.
Yeah, those are his 2 standpoints.
This is like this is like the Colbert Report. This is a parody of the right wing. What
yeah,
is this?
basically.
Is he playing a character?
I'm telling you, I think he is. It's hard for me to take him seriously almost at all because he always just hits the buzz points.
But part of me really thinks this is legit, and I don't want to. I do that for everyone. I want to think everyone's a troll.
Yeah,
But
I want to
at
think
some
everything's a
point, you
joke.
have to reconcile that there are crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
Pacific's a complete troll, by the way. No.
I
If only.
void Gavin.
I think we can we can move on.
Gavin, remove.
That's enough of you, Gavin. That was painful. Oh, Jesus.
His obfuscation that the gas market and the natural gas market overlap is fucking hilarious. It's one of the funniest. Like petroleum isn't used to make thousands of items beyond gasoline. Like it doesn't go into plastics and all these other industries that natural gas can't be affected by. No. Natural gas
say
is totally going to
petroleum?
stomp petroleum out because, they have the same applications. You fucking idiot.
Just make sure to get it from fracking. That's the only point that I wanted to make. I wanted to do some other news related thing. We're gonna do the Young Turks. We're gonna do Planned Parenthood shooters. Yeah.
More
And this
information
is one that a lot of
on
people have talked about. Yeah.
This ought to
They
be
have
good.
yeah. Okay, so you remember the Planned Parenthood shooting that was like in November?
Yeah, of course.
This video came out like last week.
Well, that's just pitiful.
They brought this up again. Why? We're gonna find out why. We're gonna find out why this, of all topics, now decided to come up. I'm just gonna let them reveal it.
This ought to be good.
the Planned Parenthood shooter has been shared with the media in heavily redacted reports, and I thought it would be important to give that information to you guys. Now, the shooter was Robert Louis Deere, and he went to a Planned Parenthood clinic and proceeded to shoot and kill individuals simply because he is against the reproductive rights of women.
I love the way that she phrases that.
Yeah, that's completely bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's not only like he's against abortion. You can't just say that. No. The way you have to phrase it is the reproductive rights of women.
He was, yeah, I hate how it's classified that way sometimes. Like, you can point to some legitimate cases, but in the case of this guy, he had the right-wing rhetoric, he had some religious conviction, he was off his rocker fucking crazy.
I mean, you can see from the photographs, he's not mentally stable.
Yeah, there is a concoction of elements that went into this attack, but they're going to try to simplify it here.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty
extremely
clearly
poorly.
see madness in his eyes.
No, he looks perfectly fine.
Deere is accused of
Insane.
killing 3 people, a police officer and 2 civilians, and faces 179 felony charges. Thankfully, this man is
Well, luckily, here in America, that's a right-wing, white, Christian, supremacist group. There's no way he's going to get convicted of any of this, right? And there's no way anyone would discuss his activities in a negative light. I mean, we'd obviously support him, right? Like the Palestinians do.
The white, considering how powerful white supremacist groups are in America, I'm amazed that this doesn't happen very often. It's almost like there aren't that many, but, we know that's not true. It's America.
Yeah.
I like how she's reporting this. Like, we know, Anna, this happened months ago.
Yeah, they're professional Googlers, dude. This is not her reporting. They have to cite the fact that it's CNN. They didn't do
An actual
anything
news
here.
source.
They never do anything. They're useless.
Even Al Jazeera has reporters. Jesus.
Seriously.
Is in custody. He was never referred to as a terrorist except for on our show, and the reason why he's a terrorist fits any.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
You have to be fucking shitting me. No, Anna, everyone called him a terrorist. I don't know a single person who didn't.
Yeah,
He's
for
a
real.
terrorist. Sure.
And it's not really relevant because it's not like we're searching for the rest of his cabal either, so.
Yeah, he's a lone wolf. On the terrorist list, he's classified as a lone wolf.
Yeah, and if that makes you guys feel better, there you go.
This attack is listed there.
I don't think it's strictly relevant in this case, but okay, if it makes you feel better, there you go.
This attack is also listed among hundreds of Islamic attacks, just to clarify. Just pointing that out.
Definition, regardless of what you think or whether you think you have to have some sort of religious doctrine behind your actions to be considered a terrorist. So let me give you the details on that and why I think he is one.
Who has ever said you had to have religious doctrines to be a terrorist?
The definition specifically includes political motives as well.
Yeah, who's ever said that? No one. What we say is that right now, in the world, most of the terrorism is committed for religious purposes by a specific group. That's all we're saying. That seems to make you uncomfortable, but...
You know who's watching? Devin's watching.
I know. I've seen him in the chat.
Yeah, that's actually where I got this video. He made a pretty excellent response to it.
Yeah, I know. You're crooking him at this point, but that's fine.
I do that to everyone. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's resource gathering. That's what it is.
That's a fancy way to put it.
That's what they're doing.
So Deere came to the clinic with 8 guns. He brought 4 SKS rifles with him inside the building and left 2 handguns, a shotgun, and a rifle inside his truck. Now, what's interesting...
That honestly sounds like that dude just drives around with those.
Yeah, they were just in his tank.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, I would actually gamble that most of those guns he just drives around with. Like, seriously, he's that kind of woodsy lunatic. I've known these guys. Some of them just have that many guns in their car. It's just what they do.
Yeah, and he left a lot of them in his car. I don't know why, but I guess he brought what he thought he needed, and
it was well thought out.
Just in case he gets driven back to the parking lot. Oh, I have extra guns.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it was ever into the 2 handguns and shotgun, and yeah, that stuff was just in his car, dude. That's why they're not describing the handguns or the rifle. I mean, they note that they really wanted to emphasize the SKSs, which, by the way, can be modified into AK-47s, like, overnight. They look and act just like AK-47s. Which is why they emphasize the SKS portion of the rifles, wherein more than likely what you're talking about in the car is a revolver, a standard handgun, a normal Mossberg shotgun, and a hunting rifle. Really, really, really inconspicuous stuff where he's from. No, really, it's Colorado. It's really inconspicuous shit out there.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
He didn't plan on just shooting people. He planned on blowing or bombing the facility
Yes,
up.
and he has technical knowledge to do it.
He brought multiple propane tanks to the clinic and told authorities that he believed they would explode if he shot them.
Fucking Mythbusters debunked this shit. I mean, it's not. It's fairly well known that that's some weird, like, fucking Hollywood nonsense. It's nobody in their right mind believes this.
Most of these guys who try to build like explosives, they usually don't work.
Yeah, exactly. The vast majority of the time.
Backwoods, like Hicks, they don't know. They don't have any clue. Like the Columbine kids couldn't build working bombs. You know what? We might as well bring that up too. That's just as relevant as bringing this story up again.
Yeah, it's terrorism. It was white kids committing terrorism for ideological purposes or something.
Hey, Hagar, do you remember Timothy McVeigh, Hagar?
I know. Do you remember the Unabomber? I mean, that was...
Hey, what about Elliot Rodgers? You know, I heard he was a misogynist.
And a terrorist. He was clearly a terrorist, too.
You know, it's a lot of white guys on this list. The theater shooter, another Colorado incident.
I'm just saying, there's something in the water there, man.
I'm just connecting the dots. Hey, look, I'm just saying. A lot of white guys.
Deer could be seen setting up propane tanks near vehicles outside the Planned Parenthood building. He told authorities he shot the propane tanks during...
And I never bring up Anders, unlike Devin's in the chat. He brought up Anders. It's not fair, just because he's like the most successful killer. I mean, he literally just wandered in somewhere and killed like, what, 50 some odd people? Just like, here you go, whap, 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 whap. Like, he's just knocking them off, dude. One dude just walked in and knocked a bunch of people off, and he's only going to do like 15 years because of the way Norwegian prisons work.
Jack the Ripper was white.
This is true. We theorized that Jack the Ripper was white.
Okay, so we have all of these Muslim terrorists, and we also have Jack the Ripper. But Jack the Ripper has to count for something. He's famous. His name is in history. So we can weigh that against all the Muslim terrorists. I think that's how that works.
Exactly.
the standoff, but they didn't explode. So let's get into...
Oh, and I love it because what they mean when they say that, oh, it's white terrorism, it's like, so when I say Muslim, you just hear brown.
Yep.
Like, that's in your head.
They're fucking racist.
That's in your head, Schnookums.
To some of the religious elements of this and, what inspired him to do what he did. Deere told one of the detectives interviewing him that his dream was that he had died, or that when he died, he would be met at the gates of heaven by aborted fetuses. They would then thank Deere for his actions, saying that he saved the lives of other unborn fetuses.
At least that doesn't sound like the ravings of a complete madman.
That's completely rational, and we don't need to take his mental health history into consideration. This is a white terrorist. Add it to the white terrorism list. Add another check mark.
Yeah.
There we go.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Jesus.
During his interview with police, Deere called President Barack Obama the Antichrist and cited Bible verses
that
he
it
claimed
was the Messiah.
The Messiah is
it.
next. That's what happens. When he snaps and finally goes and kills people, we'll know.
The tantric Messiah is a shooter.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine the interview afterwards? His stuttering, stammering speech as he's like, I just do the, and I study the tantric, Buddhism, and, I mean, can you imagine that?
He'd be like, I was bringing about the apocalypse.
I was afraid the apocalypse was coming.
No, who's going to do it first is going to be James Jackson, greatest martial artist ever.
Backed up that statement. He recited Bible quotes numerous times throughout the interview. So, this man identifies as a Christian. Is this man...
I hate that they always... That phrase needs to die. If I'm in my 70s and I'm still hearing people say that they identify as, I'm going to go on a killing spree. I mean, I'm not going to be able to handle this for that much longer. This is insanity, constantly saying that people identify as things.
I never had this problem, and I've never had this problem of apologizing for faith either. When I was a Christian, it was a conviction. Like, it was true, it was perfect, it was divine. I didn't identify as a Christian, I was a Christian. That's how that works.
Exactly.
I don't understand how you can just, I identify as this. Like, you shouldn't be able to say that about anything. Are you this or are you not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, then they also don't want to play the game that, then in that case, then there are people that identify as Muslim that do these things. Oh, but they're not real Muslim. It's an immediate kick reaction to that. They can't handle the same thing being applied to the group that they feel the need to protect. It's laughable. Yeah, it's really fun.
Anna's completely fine. She's like, well, Deere identified as a Christian, and here's some verses from the Bible he was inspired by. Okay, so people who are Muslim, could they be inspired by the Quran? Well, actually, it's a little more complicated than that. You see, there's this whole geopolitical spectrum bullshit. Like, no. I like how easy it is. Like, oh, Christian white guy killed some people. It must have been it was Christian. Muslims. Ooh, yeah. Let's find a way to spin this.
Yeah, let's make this about how it's not Muslim.
Even close to representing the majority of Christians? No. Is this man a terrorist? Absolutely. If someone was a Muslim inspired by their religion and they carried out a horrific act of violence like this, we would immediately call them a terrorist, right? Because it is...
No, you don't. You guys struggle with that, ironically.
Yeah, there is that. They also seem to struggle with representative of all Muslims. No, the reason people say that about Muslims is because there are a great deal of Muslims who support terrorism. Now, the guy Deer, is he acting in accordance with the will of Christianity? Sure, you can make an argument for that. But, I think that the link's a little more tenuous here. There are actually parts of the Bible that seem to condone abortion.
Yes, there are.
So you can't make a direct connection between this attack and Christianity as well as you could make a direct connection between Islamic terrorism and the direct calls to violence in the Quran and the Hadiths.
Fueled by religious doctrine. Now, all sorts of crazy people do crazy things that are fueled by their religious doctrine. That doesn't mean that they're representatives of everyone within their community or everyone who follows the same religious doctrine.
Thank you, Anna. Wow, what insight. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah, this is where they're pretending to be
shit.
reporters. You know what's terrifying? I bet right as soon as cameras close, this gets used for tweeting. I mean, as soon as they go set clear, this thing gets snatched up and is just, I bet it's already got alerts going on it. I bet she's just waiting for more social interaction.
Oh, God. It's embarrassing.
Ad nauseum on the show, there are different interpretations of the same religious text, okay? You can criticize that text, that's completely fine, but antagonizing the people that follow that religious doctrine does nothing to solve whatever problems we have in society, right?
Do you not understand the fact that they can be antagonized is kind of the problem?
Yeah, if you're so offended by criticism or confrontation on your faith, you are part of the problem. At that point, you are a fundamentalist. You're so tuned into it. That is such a ridiculous fucking statement. So basically, are we not allowed to? What does that even mean? Does antagonize encompass criticizing? Does it encompass being confrontational about this? Like, too bad, Anna. Of course people are going to be confrontational about this. We don't like religion. We don't like when people follow their religion.
And I'm not entitled to do so. I can do that.
Yeah, First Amendment, bitch.
All right, that's enough of these guys.
Oh, no, it's just about to get good,
Okay,
Hagbar.
fair enough.
I'm glad that they got this guy. I'm
good.
glad that he's going to suffer the consequences. He's crazy, and when the Center for Medical Progress released those stupid, heavily edited so-called sting videos, well, they inspired lunatics like this man to carry out terrible acts of violence.
And hopefully...
Oh, God.
I remember this. This is where they finally step into the realm of blaming people for inspiration, which is always a good idea.
Say this. I like how this point is brought up. So basically, what you're saying, Anna, is that maybe the videos that came out from the the Center for Medical Progress, that bogus organization, maybe they're more responsible than the Bible or Christianity for this attack. Maybe there are other things beyond this, and you're trying to make a direct link to Christianity with this attack is like laughable and complete bullshit.
Yeah,
that's a bigger culprit in my mind.
That's what Anna does.
Ugh. She refutes her own points like 2 seconds later.
They will go to prison for what they've done, and if you think that the Constitution and the freedom of speech protects these assholes at the Center for Medical Progress, you are wrong, because it's slander and it incites hate.
It's
I
not,
hate this guy.
technically it's not slander, it's libel. But okay.
He's trying to act like he knows what he's talking about. Okay, so quick question to everyone, and to you, Hagbard, as well. This guy, in my opinion, is the worst person to have ever been on the Young Turks.
The denim shirt guy here?
Yeah, fuck this
Yeah,
guy.
he's a nightmare.
Like, oh, it feels like it's one of those cases they just let someone in off the street. Hey, come do the news with us. The news in quotes.
Seriously.
Ugh.
Well, I think the core of the story for me was that things that are not weapons can still be dangerous. You know, text. I'm a Christian. My father is an Episcopal priest. My faith is very important to me.
You must be a terrorist.
You know what I mean?
It's
That's
a
the
religious
thing.
doctrine. When are we going to talk about extreme Christian terrorism in this country?
Because
When there's more of it.
When it's actually relevant.
Yeah.
No, we don't think because you're a Christian that you're a terrorist. We just think you're a moron. Like, that's it. That's where the conversation goes at that point.
Yeah, I just think you're dead wrong. I can.
Especially because she's a lesbian Christian. At that point, it's like, what the fuck?
Oh, another. Is this the counter Milo? Is that what this is? They've created a counter Milo. He's a gay Catholic that only prefers black penis, and she's gonna be a lesbian, Protestant that only prefers, I don't know, Hispanic. I don't know. She's bound to put it together somehow.
I think you were getting an insight into Hagbart's fantasies.
Yikes.
it exists.
When are we going to talk about it?
No, well, I'm just saying that, look at it. It exists. This guy took the same book that I grew up reading and then warped it into something that it is not. It's the same thing that gets thrown at me for being a gay Christian. It happens all over. And it's the same thing with the Center for Medical Progress. They put out a video. You don't think, it's not dangerous. It's not a bomb.
Okay.
But look at what it did. It does incite violence.
Yes. She just mentioned, they're trying to make this argument like, there's different interpretations, and this gets thrown at me because I'm a gay Christian. And,
There's no different interpretation of the Bible about homosexuality, sweetheart.
I've actually had this conversation with some people because there's the story of Lot. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in a lot of places. And some people try to link that like, the Bible's anti-homosexuality because all the gay men in Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. It's like, okay, well, you can make an interpretation of that, but you cannot interpret a direct call to kill homosexuals. You cannot. There's something.
No, that's in the Old
that Paul
Testament.
said. Yeah, and there's something. Well, no, there's something that Paul said about homosexuals being an abomination, and it also that's the only time in the Bible where lesbians are mentioned, saying the women traded their natural use, or something along those lines. That's in the New Testament. They can't deny that.
Yeah.
So I hate this. It's like this Reza Aslan bullshit. Like, we can have you can bring what you want to faith. Each faith has one very specific interpretation.
Yeah, and it's really not a relevant argument. That can be said about absolutely everything. These people just don't want to take stances. They don't like any strong stance makes them uncomfortable.
Well, would it make sense to have an ideology that is supposed to lead you to paradise, to be, you can go astray on this. Like, you can just interpret it willy-nilly. No.
Yeah, loosely interpret the text. That's obviously what it calls for.
These are strict ideologies that were used to control people, you dipshit.
Exactly.
The Bible can incite violence depending on whatever crazy is reading it. And I think that, to me, was what is at the core of this. It's not guns, it's not bombs. Those are also dangerous, but words and videos and images affect people, and look at what can happen.
Okay, I am out before she starts talking about reforming freedom of speech. Holy fuck.
There's this thing called freedom of speech. I think we should really do something about that.
Holy fuck. Yeah, we should really find a way to limit these words somehow. I don't know how, but these words are just I'm not really comfortable with these words.
There is that. You know what? We're gonna do the first video, the Bernie Sanders one.
Okay. Let me get rid of this
I'm about to criticize Bernie while Devin's watching. That should be fun. This is him talking about Palestine and Israel.
Boom.
And being completely backwards.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this shit.
Israel's response in Gaza in 2014 was, quote, disproportionate and led to the unnecessary loss of innocent life. What do you say to those who believe that Israel has a right to defend itself as it sees fit?
As pretty much every other nation on the planet has been allowed to do for all of time ever.
I'll say this because I like Bernie for some of his economic stuff, definitely. I think he's a pretty stand-up guy. But his stance on Islam is quite shameful. And his stance on this particular issue as a Jew is even more shameful. I'm just gonna point that out. And yes, Israel has a right to defend itself. I don't see how you could even add caveats to that. They're under attack by terrorists.
Yeah, but it's okay for us to defend ourselves, but
Well, as somebody who spent many months of my life when I was a kid in Israel, who has family in Israel.
So this would have been in the 40s or 50s?
Of course, Israel
times have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
has a right not only to defend themselves, but to live in peace and security without fear of terrorist attack. That is not a debate.
But
Again, this is a really strange point to me because it's like that is such a given. Like, yet no shit, a country has the right to defend itself and live in peace and security. Why are we discussing this? Do we really need to regress that far and break it that far down? Like, oh yes, countries have the right to be sovereign and and defend themselves against attacks.
yeah, sadly
Thanks,
we
Bernie.
do have to go out of our way to say that. Have you seen what Europe talks about? I mean, have you seen the EU? These people don't think they're allowed to have any sort of nationalistic ideals.
And that's terrifying. That's the other extreme. And I think both need to be countered.
Seriously.
But what you just read, yeah, I do believe that. Israel was subjected to terrorist attacks, has every right in the world to destroy terrorism. But we had in the Gaza area, not a very large area, some 10,000 civilians who were wounded and some 1,500 who were killed. Now, if
Fuck me.
Oh,
Free Palestine! I stand with ISIS! Like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on in this audience?
it's the stance of like, oh, I didn't know war was going to be messy. I had no clue. It's like, yes, it is. I'm sorry. People get killed. Sometimes civilians get killed. Do you think that the highly trained Israeli army is going out of its way? You know what? Fuck civilians. We're gonna be the terrorists. Specifically target civilians. Fuck your citizens. But
Yeah,
no.
it's not that these people are well known for using human shields. It's not like these people are well known for hiding in densely populated areas in an attempt to not be attacked. No.
Ugh, it's fucking madness.
These aren't the same goddamn tactics we've been dealing with since fucking Vietnam that no one wants to address. Ever since they realized that we could be made to feel bad, every other war has involved intentionally destroying civilian populations. That's how you get them to stop fighting.
Yep.
Fuck
And that's a point
me.
that
Wake up, people.
It sounds bad, and not a lot of people want to acknowledge it. Our enemies, the armies opposing us, go out of their way to use this soft spot the West has against us, time and time again.
They have since after World War II.
Yeah, and they wouldn't do it if it wasn't working. It totally works.
It clearly works.
We're talking about this now like, oh my god, the poor Palestinians. No, fuck the Palestinians. You mean the people who are launching terrorist attacks? You mean the people who are backed by Hamas? Yeah, I'm really on their side.
Yeah, for real.
you're asking me, not just me, but countries all over the world, was that a disproportionate attack? The answer is, I believe it was. And let me say something else.
Oops.
Oh, good.
Well, I have a question
This
then.
idea-
No, I have a question then. Where does that limitation come into play? Where exactly do we draw that line? What is a disproportionate attack? How do you plan a responsive attack of equality?
Well, you see, you count how many of your people that they killed, and then you go kill an equal number. That's the mentality. Oh, Israel went over with a army and happened to kill more people because the Palestinians are primitive, backwards, people who throw rocks. No shit, the Israelis killed more people. Does that mean, now they're the bad guys? Because they retaliated and, more harm was done.
Yeah, because I'm better at
like,
retaliating. That's like being mad at us for going into countries and bombing them after someone flew planes into buildings. Yeah, we probably killed more people than were killed in our country. Why? Because we're fucking better at it. You probably shouldn't poke the bear.
What's that thing that Sam Harris talked about where it was like, if you happen to see two people fighting in an alley and one person is punching back really hard, you don't know how this fight began. But it could have been that the person who's punching harder now was provoked. But
just maybe.
Instantly, we have this urge to side with the person who's doing the most, or side against the person doing the most damage. Sorry, go ahead, Hagbar.
I mean, do you know how many people I've seen that situation go down on? Where it's like, people that are getting into fights against their will and then win? That's the norm. Most of the people that can fight don't want to. Again, Israel's good at it, and you're mad at them for it. It's ridiculous. That's like that's like calling Israelis. They called the Israelis. They called the IDF racist when they tried to find rape cases because they couldn't. The IDF can't win. No matter what they do, they're going to be lambasted. It's ridiculous.
It's just such a dangerous topic to even try to bloviate about. Israel has survived because they're allies with us and other countries. They have a superior military and they have economic prosperity compared to a lot of countries in the region. What's the plan? Are we supposed to drag everyone down to equality? Oh, Israel, you have it too good. You need to live like the Palestinians.
Basically.
Let me say something else.
We can muzzle them.
As somebody who is 100% pro-Israel, in the long run, and this is not going to be easy, God only knows, but in the long run, if we are ever going to bring peace to that region which has seen so much hatred and so much war, we are going to have to treat the Palestinian people with respect and dignity.
They have to earn respect. They have to act dignified. These are not things.
I just need to be respected.
These are not things that are bestowed upon people. That's the problem with the whole narrative. You want us to bestow them with respect. No, you earn respect. You don't just get it because you exist.
I don't find them very respectable, so fuck them.
Fucking ridiculous. Alright, that's enough of you, Sanders.
Yeah, whatever.
That was depressing.
Yeah. It is sad. But, honestly, when it comes to this election cycle, I don't agree with any of the candidates on Islam. I think they're all ass backwards.
One way or another, they're all fucked.
Either it's treat all Muslims with respect and Islam is peaceful, or let's just carpet bomb everyone. Just fuck everyone, It's like, okay, well, does anyone have a legitimate, serious political opinion on this? Oh, no. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no. Again, I love that. Ted Cruz is so fucking retarded. He said we should carpet bomb the Middle East. A technique that hasn't been used since the 1960s. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's a reason we stopped doing that. We've gotten much better at dropping bombs. We no longer need to carpet bomb Ted Cruz. Stop being a moron.
I wanted to do the resist capitalism one. This is a video of someone defending the hashtag resist capitalism.
That ought to be good. Where's that?
Yeah. Good stuff.
And hashtag resist capitalism is
I would like to formally apologize to anyone wearing headset because as someone who is, this guy's audio's fucked up. It's like only on one side of the mic, so.
Not only is he not very bright, he does have shitty audio. Fair point to make.
It's a little rough, so be prepared.
Hashtag resist capitalism is trending on Twitter.
super sweet. It's cool. Why do you sound like that?
Just gonna, you know, guys, it's okay. Capitalism, it oppressed me, guys.
It's fucking ridiculous.
And simpletons are already shitting all over it. God,
There's such a thing as aspect ratio. You perhaps need to learn something about that before you attempt to do this again.
I like capitalism. There's just a king at the top. That's how it works.
Yeah, well, I mean, this chart is a starting point to understanding some of the downsides of capitalism, but unfortunately it's essentially a piece of Marxist propaganda. It bestows no agency on anyone in the tiers.
Yeah. Oh, Tommy from the Bronx is watching too.
Nice.
That's cool as shit.
Very nice.
Yeah, we can keep going.
buy computers and phones, and I eat food, so I must be a hypocrite. You caught me.
My God,
Yeah,
this
you are a
music.
What the? Yeah, I forgot about.
Oh, this
What are we
music.
looking at?
Fuck. We're looking at what
You
he
know,
hates
if
as
you
an
have shitty
effeminate.
audio-
No, we're looking at what he hates as an effeminate gay male. This is a straight man who looks somewhat confident. He's gonna hate this.
Oh, you know, he's clean shaven and well dressed. Shit, must come from money.
It's not good.
Part
Part of the patriarchy. We're looking. This is the patriarchy.
If you are a hypocrite, if you use the hashtag, this is the patriarch, dude. But no, if you use the hashtag resist capitalism and then you go out to Starbucks and you tweet about it on your fucking droid, yeah, I'm sorry, you are a hypocrite.
Yeah, seriously.
Don't try to paint this as, oh, we're just trying to reform capitalism. No, these are people who don't like capitalism. They want to do away with the system, and it's complete horseshit.
Yeah, and I actually had a somewhat formalized debate with someone supporting, the idea of a communist revolution, and these people don't know how anything works. They literally do not know how the world functions. They just don't.
Oh yeah, on your stream with Naked Ape.
Yeah, they just don't know how this world functions. They don't understand even the base level of human psychology. It's amazing.
Except
to be
people
fair,
who
neither do
use
libertarians.
the hashtag
That's true.
resist capitalism trend, I guess you could call it, whatever. I'm blanked out for a little bit. Aren't
That lip smack is fucking killing me, dude.
Oh my god.
just
Yeah.
anti-capitalist.
It sounds like he's just rambling at this
And
point.
you'd know this if you actually bothered
You
to be
actually.
informed on the substance.
Anytime you hear someone say this, just be prepared, because there's an onslaught of garbage that's about to come. You don't actually understand this subject, so maybe be
Actually-
quiet.
You don't understand the nuance of our hashtag movement.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
And
always a
even
good
if
sign.
There are people who are just fervently anti-capitalist. That doesn't mean you can't buy things. What kind of logical delusion is that?
Okay. This guy has a very firm understanding of reality. Holy shit.
Yeah, that is wild.
Where did you even find this?
I don't know
Reese?
how much more I can take of this shit.
Yeah, did you look at this
Oh,
one at
God.
all? Did you fuck? What is this?
You know, I don't remember the audio being that bad, honestly.
Jesus Christ.
We
Fuck
could give
you.
it one more spin,
Yeah.
and then there's something else
Being
I'd like to do.
anti-capitalist simply means
His hard
you think
consonants are
workers
insane.
should have the rights to their labors.
Define that, friend.
As a social anarchist, I'm forced to defend this every time this comes up.
Whoa!
A social anarchist. Do you mean anarcho-communist, but you know people would kick you in the
Okay.
fucking teeth if you said something so stupid as that?
Oh god, I love when they roll out the scale. Like, it's this form of validation. Where am I? Where do I fit into the picture? How about you just be yourself? How about you just have your own opinions?
Yeah, imagine that.
There's nothing that prevents me from
fuck
buying a
this.
phone under an
No,
anti-capitalist
Hackbard,
society.
Fuck this.
What?
I'm done. Fuck that shit.
You clearly don't
The
understand how this system, even the guy we had to back into the corner about that, yeah. They don't want to accept the fact that in theory what you're supposed to be able to do is just go down and take something. You literally just have stores with stuff in them that are just provided by people who voluntarily stock the shelves, because then they're allowed to go to the doctors and all these other things. It's a concept that there's no such thing as selfish individuals, or that you can train individualism or selfishness out of the human being, which is good luck.
Well, yeah, it's kind of that view like, oh, you know, human beings, we don't need to tax them, they'll just give to charity. Human beings are also good. That makes sense.
Exactly. All human beings are fundamentally good, and then especially people like him that say they're anarchists. Well, then how does one impose one's will upon the people that aren't good? Well, one would have to form like a police force or some sort of social control mechanism that we would typically call a branch of government. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. These people are insane.
Yeah. Capitalism is so regularly vilified by people who don't even know what capitalism is. It's sad. People who use capitalism, people who rely on capitalism. Let's do the 10 Islamic rules of war.
Oh,
It's
this
a
ought to be
merciful
good.
servant. Yeah.
Oh, the merciful servant.
My favorite Islamic republic.
Whoa, man.
This got violent.
Jeez, that escalated quickly.
All right, turn on the video. Bam, 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 bam.
And what the fuck guns are these?
I don't
in
know.
all seriousness,
this is like
I mean,
from this is a stock thing that he bought off the internet.
Yeah, but from a technical standpoint, what is these shotguns with scopes? What are these? What sawed-off shotguns with scopes? What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, those.
What? No, seriously, look at the barrel size. They're shotguns. They're fucking sawed-off shotguns. Get out of here.
Scope. I've never seen that shit.
Get the fuck out of. Get fucked. Allahu Akbar!
10 Islamic rules of war.
Okay. These are always so drawn out. They always like the music in the background's constant. And they like to really emphasize.
I'm sure
the
that's
fucking...
Haram. I think that's multiple sins at once.
Yeah, for real.
Before engaging in battle, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, instructed his soldiers with the following rules of war. Number 1, do not kill any child, any woman, or any elder or sick person.
Well, yeah, the children
why.
the children and women were to be taken, and elders and sick people are. I mean, why bother?
They were going to die off soon.
Yeah, that's not a
I really
thing.
wonder, merciful servant.
Well, it does
why-
explain,
why?
however, why they executed all the boys with pubic hair when they took villages. But you know,
That's just a very specific call to violence, I suppose. No, they took the women and children to rape them. You fucking imbecile.
yeah, they were property.
Ugh.
Number 2,
Oh, this list.
do not
fuck.
practice treachery or mutilation. Number 3,
Well, yeah, but the treachery aspect is specifically applied to the other Muslims. It's not applied to your enemy. You're encouraged to deceive your enemy. Again, this verse, 5 verses before it, it says, do not ever let your enemy get a hold of this fucking book. This book will tattletale on you big time. Do not let them get a hold of this shit.
Yeah, that's something that they don't seem to point out. That it applies to. This is a book for Muslims. The rule set for Muslims is completely different than the rule set for infidels.
They regularly ignore that aspect, and that it's emphasized constantly throughout the text.
do not uproot or burn palms or cut down fruitful trees. Number 4,
Yeah, don't destroy the fruit. Obviously, we would like to keep
Wow.
that for when we conquer the land.
I like how that's. Here's one of the rules of war: don't chop down the trees. They're fine.
Yeah, well, I always
Leave the
love it where
fruit,
at least
but,
he
you know,
had to be honest, because most of the time they lie, and they say it says don't cut down a tree. No, it says don't cut down fruit-bearing trees. They don't give a fuck about scrubs or anything.
The pro-environmentalist message of Islam.
Yeah, that's it.
Do not slaughter a sheep or a cow or a camel, except for food.
Duh. Again. Duh. This is how one makes sure one keeps one's conquest, yes.
Yes, thank you for that.
Number 5. If one fights his brother, he must avoid striking the face, for God created him in the image of Adam.
Well, that's just fucking bizarre. That's just a bizarrely specific.
Doesn't
That's
that
like
only
that's
apply
like
to
a
Muslims?
yes. Again, when fighting a brother, not a rando, a brother. But beyond that,
A
that's
brother.
just so weird. It's so very specific and bizarre. I'm working on a theory that Muhammad was just an OCD guy in the desert. He had really, really, really,
That
really
would be
specific rules. And are we going to discuss some other weird rules, like make sure you don't leave piss on your clothes? That had to be very specifically told to these people, apparently.
Especially after you gargle camel piss.
Yeah, I mean, just
But don't get it on your clothes.
Yeah, don't get it on your clothes, though.
Number 6. Do
You
not
can
kill
get it
the
in your
monks
mouth,
in
you just can't get it on your clothes.
Yeah.
monasteries, and do not kill those sitting in places of worship.
That's a deeply, deeply mistranslated passage, but whatever.
Number 7. Do not destroy the villages and towns. Do not spoil the cultivated fields and gardens. And do not slaughter the cattle.
Again, we've covered that.
Okay.
Number 8.
Like, is this supposed to be getting them brownie points? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's supposed
good
to
on
make
you,
them
you didn't
look good,
destroy
but-
everything. I also like how in this entire list, what should be the most obvious rule? Like, don't go to war, don't commit acts of terrorism. That's not one. That's not a rule.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, it's explained.
Don't unprovokedly attack villages of innocent civilians. That should be a rule. Oh wait, that's not. It's actually the opposite.
Do not wish for an encounter with the enemy. Pray to God to grant you security. But when you are forced to encounter them, exercise patience. Number 9. No one may punish with fire except the Lord of Fire. Number 10.
I honestly do believe, again, this is one of those things. First and foremost, he borrowed that. You can actually find the almost exact quote minus the word Lord for all intents and purposes. You know, it's an implication of having the ability to control fire in its original translation. That's in The Art of War. You're not you cannot use fire because fire is dangerous and uncontrollable, and it can sweep back on you and your own troops. It's in The Art of War, almost that exact quote. You cannot use fire in combat.
Yeah, these are all such bizarre. These are all just such bizarre rules, and I like it's a technique that this guy uses regularly. Like, I'm just gonna breeze through these quickly. I'm just gonna I know it's complete bullshit, but if I say it quickly enough, maybe you'll buy into it.
Yeah, if I just go through it rapidly.
Number 9, number 10.
Yeah, if I go through it super rapidly, maybe you won't notice how these all fit into just being standard Art of War issues.
Accustom yourselves to do good if people do good, and to not do wrong, even if they commit evil. These are only 10 of the...
Okay, some of those were not rules of war. Some of those were just standard things that were passed down. I don't understand how you apply them to war.
He's really stretching in this one.
Oh, now they're gonna sing. There
Who
were
would've
only
thought?
10. No, we're done here. Now they're gonna sing. There's like a full minute here of singing.
No. Gotta hear him sing, Hagbar.
Listen, this is all they're gonna do. They're just gonna do their exit and be like,
rules of war that were set by the Prophet, peace be upon him, which encouraged mercy and justice. So how can a religion that promotes justice, even in war, ever be associated with terrorism? We will leave you with that thought.
we haven't actually refuted it. We're hoping that we've convinced you somehow that it's not terrorism. Yeah.
Look, there's
friend.
so much justice in Islam, and in the rules of war.
Yes,
So how
exactly.
could it be associated with terrorism? Jesus Christ.
That's enough of that. Go ahead.
Am I coming through okay, Hagbard? I'm just making sure.
The vast majority of the time. There's been a couple dropouts, but...
Okay. I was getting worried that we were having some connection issues because I'm not. I hope it's coming through okay on the picture because the picture quality I'm getting sometimes is pretty shit.
These were all done in 360 or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do Tomi Lahren. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
There she is.
I know.
Hillary, it's really interesting you talking about.
Oi. That voice.
Yeah.
Hillary, it's really interesting you talking about rights in the Supreme Court and all. Let me quote you. It's not much of a right if it's totally limited and constrained. Hillary, do you mean like what the Democrats constantly try to do with gun rights? Kind of like that? Now, Hillary, sometimes people...
God, this is the problem. Like, I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment, but it's people like this that make me just go, hey, do me a favor, shut the fuck up and let rational people discuss this.
Yeah, we've discussed the Second Amendment many times. We're both pretty pro Second Amendment. I do support some control methods or whatever because I care about my fellow citizens. I don't just I don't want the guy at Planned Parenthood to just have the ability to make AK-47s. That's something I'm against. Yes, you should limit some of these rights because they aren't even really rights, in my opinion. When these were written, we didn't have AK-47s, and I'm so tired of having to explain this. You don't have a right to any kind of gun you want. You don't have a right to any kind of weapon you want. You don't get to just own a tank.
Well, I mean, when it was laid down, one of the first purchases made under the Second Amendment was actually a cannon. So it was for the militias. It was for people to be. Technically, we are supposed to be able to own a tank, and you can if you've been registered and trained to do so, which is how militia members own reconstructed military vehicles because they've got R9 clearance because they're usually ex-military.
Yeah, I mean, if you're ex-military, if you've been through the courses, you've been through the training, fine. I am fine with that. I trust that person a hell of a lot more than I trust.
I mean, they're even allowed to buy. They're even allowed to buy assault rifles. They're allowed to buy just rock and roll, full automatic weapons, ex-military, buy off, all this other research stuff. They take their weapons home. I mean, it's pretty standard. But again, that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's who it's protecting, because once you're out of the military, you're technically on reserve for the rest of your life. You can just be called up by the military.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy too.
Yeah.
Are killed with guns, but 100% of the time people are killed by abortions. So next time you want to talk about rights in the Supreme Court and in the Constitution...
This is what I'm saying. Can you please let normal, rational people have this discussion? People that won't immediately leap on fucking 100% of abortions are fatal. Oh, fuck me.
How is anyone supposed to take this seriously? Your stance on this is ridiculous. What do you even say to that? Like, how many times does that have to be explained? Oh God, not the fetuses, poor fetuses. Jesus.
That's an insane statement to make. It just is.
I would encourage you to take a gander.
I'm hearing kind of a slight echo from your end, Hagbard.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, sometimes I'll end a sentence and then I'll hear the last word I said repeated back at me. I don't know why.
That's the connection lag we're experiencing.
Yeah. It seems the connection between us is not brilliant.
No, it's not.
But I guess it's coming through fine. The chat hasn't revolted, so we will continue on our merry way.
Yeah, Skeptic says fuck your audio issues.
At the Bill of Rights, give the Second Amendment a good read. First of all, if some of you out there are paying off student loans for 50 years, you need to take a look in the mirror and have an honest moment with yourself. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's time to take some responsibility. There are thousands and thousands of people that came to this.
Wow.
You need to take some responsibility.
Who did this? Is this a compilation? Is this like a fucking her being goofy? I mean, because this is like
Yeah,
someone
she
spliced
seems to-
together like the worst of Harans.
No, she's just kind of jumping from point to point. There's no consistent thread, which is funny because I'm amazed she even cursed slightly, because she said stuff like, I don't give a flying you know what about that.
I think she's allowed to use like
she's
Disney
that kind of
curses,
person.
like hell and
And,
damn. She can use like hell and damn, but I don't think she can use real curse words.
I don't give a damn about this. Ooh, edgy.
Yeah,
I'm triggered.
Exactly. I think she's allowed to use like Disney curses.
Country with little
Oh,
more than what they
people complaining about your student debt. How dare you? It's not like that's obscenely high. Fucking idiot. Yeah, like you know a lot. I'm sure you know so much about this working at the Blaze.
Yeah, for real.
they could fit in their pockets.
Ugh.
And those socialist countries that Bernie fantasizes about, like Venezuela, they can't get their hands on toilet paper, let alone a college education. Student loan debt sucks, but grow up and stop acting like the debt you accumulated is someone else's problem. It's not. And Bernie, you're old and you don't speak for young people.
You're old.
Apparently he does. Fucking bimbo.
You're old. There.
That's my argument against you.
What a weird fucking thing
we
to
were
say.
We were just criticizing Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, but
But
what a
fuck
weird
it,
thing
like-
to say. I didn't have to go to the "you're old" card. What the fuck are you, 10?
You know what? Yeah, that should have been our response. I'm here to support Palestinians. You're old.
Yeah, well, you're
Get
old.
off the Joel.
The fuck is wrong with you?
People shouldn't be forced to pay off student loans, but your buddies Hillary, Nancy, and Obama believe they should be forced to buy health insurance, and you believe taxpayers should be forced to pay for everyone's?
That was it?
Fuck.
What
That was
bothers
it.
me the most about this is like these guys get paid.
Yep.
She got paid for that.
That's a job. That's her job.
Fuck me. I'm doing something wrong,
apparently,
man.
Apparently, Skepo and Tomi are gonna have a slap fight.
I'd pay to watch that.
In yellow and bikinis. There we go.
Sounds good.
That sounds amazing. You should film that, and we'll watch that on the show.
No shit.
I wanted to. I wanted to do evolution in the left-right political thing. We're gonna be a bit more nicer on this video. This is a video from Atheist. He is a subscriber. We've had a couple of debates. We disagree on some political things. I uploaded a debate between myself and him and some other people on Islam and Islamophobia to the channel, and people are probably familiar with that. We can just watch some of this. He's an interesting guy.
Science based on evidence in the facts. This is the evidence, right? As we know with the regressives, they like narrative over fact.
Yeah, it's Lalo.
So even if you give them facts, that's scary. Then they just get angry usually. Right.
Nothing more than. I really wish feelings weren't such a big part of some people's political analysis. Most of these classical liberals like Dave Rubin are obviously interested in making a difference in the lives of people living in other cultures. But wouldn't it be cool if they first made an honest, scientific attempt to understand the political opposition living in their own backyards?
Outside of the right wing, which, as classical liberals, we are like, okay, the Daily Show kind of banter get it. We don't care.
So I see what he's getting at. So basically, if you identify as a classical liberal, you're supposed to be familiar with the political opposition in your own country. Well, we already are. We already are well aware of Republicans. We refuted every point they made. We got bored of them. Now they've become a joke that the Daily Show rips on, and we moved on to Islam, and we moved on to fixing stuff in our own community.
Yeah,
because that's a more challenging pursuit.
I'm not understanding the point of this video.
Well, I get what I'm gathering from it is that people who identify as classical liberals should spend more time criticizing people on the right wing rather than addressing Islam or addressing the so-called regressive left. That is what I'm getting from it.
Right, but on the Daily Show, those guys are.
No, wait, what?
Ridiculous. Those guys are ridiculous. We can laugh about Fox News all day.
The best quote I've ever found to explain our...
What the fuck is this?
I really don't know. I think he just throws in random music sometimes.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
I think it's supposed to be funny.
What kind of goofy-ass production is this?
By the way, Agbard, our connection is fucking garbage. I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Do you want to try to call me back real quick?
Sure. Well, this isn't good.
Hey, I'm back.
There we go. Much better.
Oh, wow. Jesus. That's so much better.
Much better.
Political
All right,
spectrum.
I think you'll need to screen share again, but we're good.
Oh,
We're
I
good.
do, don't I?
Sorry, guys. We do the show live.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to be looking at your icon.
It's fine, it's fine. You just need the audio anyway.
By atheist
The audio
philosopher
in this
Bertrand
video is
Russell.
so confusing, though. I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta play music, I guess.
Yeah, what the fuck am I saying?
Every community is exposed to two opposite dangers: ossification
Bertrand
through
Russell.
too much
Okay.
Yeah, not a great place to start.
discipline or reverence for tradition on the one hand, and on the other hand, disillusion or subjection to foreign
I guess.
What? Yeah,
conquest through a growth of individualism and personal experience that makes cooperation impossible. These two opposing forces endanger every society, and the ideas behind liberalism and conservatism have evolved to meet these very real
Akbar,
challenges.
Are you playing it?
Yes, could you not hear it?
I cannot hear this shit. No. I cannot hear that shit.
Well, that's unusual. I've changed nothing.
That is very unusual. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
I
agree. I'm just gonna enjoy the chat for a minute.
You sincerely
Real
cannot hear it,
challenges.
huh?
Many people.
That's not good.
That is not good at all.
Remember, last time this was your rig. Did you burn
Yeah, I
another?
don't know.
Did you
Except
burn
I
another
didn't.
audio card?
I don't think so.
Inside these two
Huh.
Oh god. If only we had a break set up.
distinct communities believe the world would be a utopia.
Well, yeah, it's coming through my microphone feed, so there's no reason to even bother with all that.
I could try another computer. I don't know what you want to do about the stream, though.
Well, here, did you want to try another computer?
Sure.
Okay.
I said that.
Yeah, let me give me a call back when you put a new one on. I'll just put a picture up real quick and start some Claire de Lune or something.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll be right back, everyone.
We'll be right back. Hopefully after solving these technical difficulties. Down with that. I'm going to do something somewhat unusual. And I'm going to start Claire de Lune. There we go. There?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear Clear to Loon?
Yes, I could hear that.
Well, then
There
I
we
guess
go.
we're back again.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. That wasn't fun.
Nope.
But I guess the show must go on.
And I believe we were here.
I cannot actually see.
Oh yes, the screen sharing issue.
That is always such bullshit, isn't it?
It
I
should
wish
just
you could
know
just
I
set it
intend.
so it did.
Yes, it should just know I intend to screen share here. Okay.
Sure.
There we go.
Well,
Right back
we can
on
keep-
track. Can you see that?
Yes.
And
And on the other hand,
you hear his voice.
Yes.
All
Brilliant.
Let's go.
and disillusion or subjection to foreign conquest through a growth of individualism and personal experience that makes cooperation impossible. These two opposing forces endanger every society, and the ideas behind liberalism and conservatism have evolved to meet these very real challenges. Many people inside these two distinct communities believe the world would be a utopia if they could just annihilate their political rivals. But many smarter people, like Bertrand Russell,
Well, again, I'm not sure who sent you this video and why. What was the point they were trying to make? If this is something that I've made videos about, I'm not sure what the fuck the point of this is.
Well, I actually found this one, and the reason I find it interesting is one, the apparent responsibility of people in this quote-unquote classical liberal movement to have to address conservatism. And also that somehow this this dichotomy between liberalism and conservatism, he's going to get at how this is, you know, it's evolutionarily designed, I guess, is what he's getting at.
Okay, let's see.
understand that's likely not the case. Healthy societies contain both of these constituencies for a good reason. Liberals intuitively understand the dangers of stagnation, always seeking to improve society and avoid the perils of ossification on the right, while conservatives understand intuitively the dangers of abandoning the traditions and institutions that have protected, served, and stabilized society up until now. While progressives...
Okay, this is where I call a false dichotomy, because if you look at the political landscape now, we've actually added a third group.
Well, what he's doing, he's lumping us in with the progressives without realizing that the current community of, if you will, you know, liberal-minded people are actually concerned with both of these things. We don't want to ossify. We want to continue to move forward. We despise stagnation. But we also recognize the fact that this constant divisiveness is the problem. This dissolution is the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. There is the people on the right went really far right. The people who were going really far left went even further left. And now there is this group of classical liberals like us that are pretty moderate. We have left leanings, obviously, but you know, fairly moderate compared to everyone else. And that's where the conversation has moved to, at least in America. I mean, it's fun to, you know, laugh at Fox News, but really, there are heftier things to discuss.
Even on the right, there are heftier things to discuss than fucking Fox News.
I just think it feels like beating a dead horse. Like,
and it feels weird coming off of two Rebel Media videos. I mean, we're not fucking with Fox because we're dealing with the Rebel Media group. I mean, what are we supposed to do here?
But even they, like in the Gavin McInnes clip, is parroting typical right-wing talking points that have been, you know, heard and refuted 100 times. It's fun to do because it's easy to do. We've already all done it. We've spent the last couple decades shitting on the right wing. It's too easy at this point. I need a challenge. I need something worth discussing.
Seriously.
Understand change is good for any healthy society. Conservatives understand too much change can be dangerous or disruptive. These two communities move history forward in a sort of zigzag pattern through a process of change, resistance to...
Yeah, we call it the pendulum. This isn't new, friend. What do you think you're accomplishing here?
And I don't like It's not necessarily I don't like the classification, but I don't want to see this bouncing between extremes continue.
Well,
Like,
it never
it's
was
almost-
before. This is new. This is because of the thing he described in the beginning, but I'm not sure what he thinks he's doing aside from defining the point so many people already have.
Not only is he lumping in liberals with the progressives, but the whole point is that this is supposed to break the status quo. This is a new kind of political movement. Enough with the zigzag. Oh, because isn't that the definition of stagnation? This has happened throughout history, so let's just let it keep happening? No, fuck that. Let's have a different discussion, because the discussion we've been having hasn't been working. If it just keeps going back and forth, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's like that's why so many of the new conservative or the new liberal group is ex-conservative and ex-liberals.
Yeah, and good on them. I don't understand why he's trying to limit what Lalo does, what Dave Rubin does. Like, oh, you guys, you need to understand your political opposition. They fully understand their political opposition. It's called the regressive left.
Yeah, exactly. And
Those are the two big players now. Progressive left, classical liberals. Fuck everyone else. They, like, what, do we want Tomi Lahren to get in here and drop her 2 cents? No. It's not worth having that discussion.
This is just, it's a ridiculous idea.
That change, and then a new synthesis between the 2 points of view. Like the day and the night, or the seasons of the year, these forces are not at war with one another, but create an evolutionarily stable balance within a larger system. Right now in America,
that we needed to know our opposition, but now they're not at war. Actually, it's a really peaceful, beautiful thing. Do we need to balance the seasons? Like, what?
in the same way,
opposition or not?
human biology churns out males and females. You believed gays make up a certain percentage of the population, and there have been scientific studies aimed at understanding why. Understanding political diversity in the same Darwinian light is just as important, as well as the key to understanding both religion and politics. But you'll never
Did he just say that homosexuality and politics were akin?
Yes.
That's something that's potentially genetic, and something that is a political leaning are the same thing.
Studies have been done. We know, I think we have a pretty good idea that homosexuality is introduced within the gene pool to, help. It's a birth control mechanism for the most part. That it serves a biological use. But no, you don't have like biological leanings towards religion or politics. These are man-made concepts that nature had no idea about.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre concept. Is he just going to leave? Okay, let's see what else he has to say here.
More Lalo.
We kind of grew up on this idea of multiculturalism, that it's good to be accepting of people of other nationalities, other cultures, other religions. And okay, that's a good idea. But at the same time, we're against racism, homophobia, and all this stuff. So we have this crossroads where, okay, we have to be accepting of other cultures, but it turns out a lot of these cultures are have some of the worst liberal values we've seen. They're extremely conservative.
So is he taking issue with the use of the word conservative there? Because the definition for the word conservative that he himself used earlier in the video directly applies to Islamic cultures.
Yeah,
they
that's
are
the problem.
conservative cultures.
So it's still an extension of true liberalism to be critical of Islam because of how extremely conservative it is. And but because we happen to lump in Islam, Islamists, Muslims, and Islamic apologists who tend to be left-leaning, then you don't know your political opposition.
Yeah.
No, the people who happen to be liberal, who are defending extreme conservatives, are just as bad. Because they believe in abortion rights. Oh, good for them. That's a given. That doesn't mean, it's almost this idea like you have to stay in your camp. You have to be on your side. You can't talk about this. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, well, it was bizarre. It's like, did you not want him to use the word conservative? That's really the issue you're taking with this scenario.
It feels like that to me. But
what a bizarre fucker.
Yeah. Atheist is a nice guy, but he has some pretty wacky views. What to do? I think that we're gonna do satanic Baal worship making a comeback.
Where's that? Oh, Jesus. This ought to be good. The Super Christian.
Okay, oh my God.
The Super Christian begins.
I've played one of this guy's videos a long ass time ago, but this really reaffirmed
This one takes
to
the
me
cake, eh?
how crazy he is. Let's, because there's kind of this phenomenon in America, like, all those fake Satanists.
Yeah.
He apparently, that offends him, so he thinks that's real. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Well, I mean, there are real Satanists that don't believe in Satan.
Sure.
Luciferian people don't believe in the dogma.
Are they really mainstream though?
Well, no. I mean, the real question is things like, how many Satanists have you met that actually fit a Christian ideal of a Satanist? Because I actually know quite a few, and none of them believe in spiritual shit. Almost none of them I've ever talked to believe in spiritual shit. They don't believe in Satan. That's the first thing that most people have to explain when they explain that they're a Satanist. It's just basically a way to piss people off and just be a humanist. That's all a Satanist is. A Satanist or a Luciferian is just someone that just is a humanist for all intents and purposes.
Yes.
It's a gag to piss you off, and apparently it worked. Does he know that's really close to, like, the Uber Christian?
Ubermensch.
The other Ubermensch.
His intro is fucking eternity.
Yeah, it appears that way. I didn't realize it was going to continue until I saw the print. Preaching the gospel of Jesus.
This guy's friends with the Vigilant Christian, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so they're dual lunatics.
Yeah, there's a whole gang of like Puritan pictures, like a bunch of these truther types.
Fucking terrifying. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey guys, it's Super Christian Tim here, coming at you with another report.
I like how nonchalant. It's just like, hey guys, Super Christian
Dim
Tim.
man titties, though. Look at them man titties, dog. Fuck. I'm calling it right now. Look, okay? Let me just, for the audience's sake. Man titties. Big old man titties. And scoliosis. Look at the slope.
It's like, I'm coming at you guys with another video.
God obviously doesn't love you. I'm just saying.
Jesus, look at his signs.
Oh, look at the anti-Israel. That's good.
Fuck the Jews. New World Order. Evolution is a lie.
Fuck the Masons. That's good.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But he's down with CERN, I guess?
Yeah, the Masons are bad news, but CERN, they're fine.
Okay, friend.
In today's video, we're talking about the erecting of Baal temples going on.
He's talking about erections.
Erecting.
Now, in the description section, there will be a article that is telling you all about...
No, there'll be an article.
About how...
article.
English man. Do you fucking speak it?
An archaeological institute is erecting Baal temples all over the United States. And what I want to show is just that this is a complete repeat. The Bible...
I'm pretty sure this kid got poed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this kid's reading one of those fake articles and thought it was real.
Absolutely. He always does that.
It doesn't even make sense. Archaeological institutes erecting Baal temples. Please do go on.
A lot of his videos, he'll just be reading some wacky-ass article, and he won't even comment on it. He'll just read it straight through, and then, oh, okay, thanks for that. Are you the news? Are you informing us of this secret Illuminati cabal to control us all?
Yeah, for real.
The Bible tells us that there was been before, will be again, and there's nothing new under the sun, right? Well, I mean...
I would love to snatch one of those little Palestinian-looking motherfuckers out of the Middle East that believed this shit when it was first written down and just show them that it's very, very clear to anyone that's been around for more than, I don't know, 10 years, that stuff that wasn't before exists now. That is a thing that has occurred throughout history, you fucking lunatics.
The thing that really gets me is I can't... It's just, it really rocks my world that this kind of rhetoric has affected so many people. You know, like, people wrote this down thousands of years ago. They could have had no idea that people in the future would still be talking about it.
So what you're saying, so basically what you're saying is Hitler was right?
Yes. No. Hitler was fucking right.
Some 2,000-year-old book can't be trusted. I mean, really.
It's just, it's so wacky to think how much of human history is dependent on this.
Well, to be fair, it's even wackier when you think of the fact that 10,000 years before that, for about 8,000 years until the year 0 or slightly before, maybe 2,000 years before that, these books had no relevance.
Yeah, that's crazy too. And humanity was going on fine. Nothing.
And there are huge swaths of humanity that this had no effect on. I mean, Asia was never Christianized.
Well, it had no effect on the Native Americans until we
it
killed
was too
them
late,
all in the name of it.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we didn't want to kill them. We wanted to convert them, but I mean.
Oh, that's so much better.
They can't be trusted if they're not going to be Christians.
Let me just read a few scriptures because
please do.
This is what caused the desolations in Israel prior to our age of Christ that we have now. Jeremiah 23:13, and I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err, to turn away from the ways of the Lord. Jeremiah 7:9, will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal? And
what the fuck? What are you going on about?
This is completely relevant to today, by the way. This fits.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
Walk after other gods whom ye know.
Oh god, he's got a bunch of missing teeth too. Fuck.
It all throughout the Old Testament. 1 Samuel 7:4. Then the children of Israel did put away Baalim and Ashtaroth and served the Lord only. Jeremiah 2:8. The priest said not.
Yeah, it's almost like Baal is just being used as a representation of any of the old pagan gods, isn't it?
Yeah, like Moloch.
It's almost like that's the case, isn't it? It's almost, but it's not. It's Baal's a real entity that's out there, right? I mean, that's what you'd have to believe. If you believe this, you have to believe that there's even a potential that there's a real creature out there called Baal, insofar as there's a real creature out there called God, and that somehow they're at least subjectively equal.
In the Bible, in terms of the narrative, Baal is not real. Like, I don't understand that. I thought they made it, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I thought they made it pretty clear that Baal was a false idol. Baal was not an actual supernatural being. There is only one God in the Bible.
I know, but that's the thing. That's how you convince people there's only one God. You simply say all the other pagan gods are idols. But you have to be granted to do that. The thing that would have stopped it in its place is to do that. The pagans could have looked at them and went, why do you care then? If it's not a real entity, why are you so concerned with it?
Because they understand that it's real enough in the minds of people who actually believe that. And you have
so kind of like your God.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why it would fall apart immediately. But, these people were insistent and they killed people over it. But.
Yes.
Where is the Lord? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit.
Those reading skills.
Reading comprehension, grade 2.
Why is it that so many people, when they read scripture, sound the same? The only difference between him and a Hebrew Israelite is the volume. They both read the scripture like it's the first time they've been called on in class to read out of the textbook.
All right, read. That's right. Proverbs 2:23.
It's always this stilted delivery.
Jesus. This It's all throughout the Old Testament. They were walking after their imaginations, their own hearts, you know, Baal worship, all this satanic stuff. They were sacrificing children, passing them through the fire unto Baal.
Bad teeth. I didn't notice.
I wasn't trying to be mean. It hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. He looks like an ex-meth head. He's got bad fucking teeth.
Look how derpy he is.
Yeah, I mean, he sincerely looks like a fucking meth head. He's got some real fucked up teeth.
No wonder he needs Christ.
Yeah, you need Jesus, boy.
This is why the Lord had the Israelites destroying the heathen, because they were sacrificing their children, you know, committing cannibalism. They were very satanic people. The ancient pagans.
Luckily, there's no cannibalism in religious dogma from Christianity because, you know, the sacrament isn't a thing.
That's one of the fundamental cornerstones of Christianity.
Yeah, the sacrament's not a thing, right? It's not a reproduction of. It's not. You're not literally eating the body of Christ, and the Catholics believe it's literally the body of Christ. That's a slice of Jesus.
That's how you have to take it. That's how Jesus said it. It's not symbolic. It's not literal.
This is my body. This is my blood. This is what he said.
They have the audacity to question what Jesus said. Like, Jesus laid it out pretty clear. You guys have this whole cult where it's basically it's completely glorifying torture and cannibalism and genocide, and it's like, oh, but we're the moral arbiters and we're really the ones who are going to save the world, and you need to listen to us. Like, no, I don't need to listen to you.
Adds up to me.
Pagans deserved exactly what they got from the Lord. You know, many skeptics and atheists will sit there and say, well, why would the Lord destroy all these people? Look at what they were doing. Look at the acts they were committing. And would a people that are used to satanic traditions like that ever turn from them and turn to the Lord, aside from Israel? No. No, they wouldn't.
Humanity was just fucked from the get-go.
Aside from Israel.
But he has an anti-Israel poster.
Maybe it's just anti-Jews. Israel's fine, but fuck the Jews.
You know, I like Israel as long as we can reclaim it for the Christians, but fuck those Jews.
Fuck those Jews, though.
So they had to be utterly destroyed.
We talked about that. Why do so many people hate the Jews? There's barely any of them left.
Yeah, all 10 million of them are such a problem.
Yeah, man, those Jews always up to no good.
Again, fucking New York City has more people in it than there are Jews on the planet. For fuck's sake.
But look, the Jews, you know, they're crafty. They've worked their ways up into Hollywood. They control everything, Hagbard.
I know.
Like the Old Testament commanded.
Well, that was convenient timing.
And you see now, we're like returning to this.
You see, even when he leans the other way, he keeps the lump on the other side. You see, that's how you know it's scoliosis. You see how awkwardly positioned he is right now.
I never even noticed that. I don't want to make fun of him now.
Terrible. Baal.
I'll make fun of him. I'm just pointing out the scoliosis. Note, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just pointing it out. And the man tits. It's just pointing it out. They're man tits. Those are a thing. They're very visible and clear. I point out the physical characteristics of everyone. It's fine.
I'll point out his face first. He's got an odd face.
Yeah, he does.
Worship these fools at the satanic temple that I've exposed. These foolish people that are turning to these terrible ways, following after their own hearts and their own desires. And the heart is...
I'm betting this guy has named his breasts Adam and Eve.
Yeah, well, the other aspect is I bet this guy has probably let himself, you know, as I discussed. He looks like an ex-meth head. So I bet what he's doing is like, we shouldn't follow our desires, because my desire is to go smoke a big fat fucking bowl of meth. That's my desire, and I know I shouldn't do that because God loves me. And in that case, you're probably right.
Rejection.
In that case, yeah, you're probably right. You should.
Yeah, I have all these urges. That means everyone has these urges. It's like, no, dude, we're fine.
Okay. FYI, chat, I'm no longer able to see you.
I'll keep an eye on it.
My telly has died.
Oh.
Deceitfully wicked or...
Nope, done with him.
Yeah.
Enough with man tits scoliosis. That's enough.
Oh God. What to do? What to do? Actually, let's do how to be an ally to transgender people. This one was pretty. A lot of people never respond.
Oh, one of these cutesy typey intros. God damn it.
Yep.
Kenny, more than just one out of many.
Hello, lovely people. Okay, so you reached the point where you.
Excuse me, but lovely's a triggering word for me.
What if we weren't lovely? I mean, we are, but hell, if Super Christian Tim had been watching this,
that could have triggered him. I mean,
he would have gone back to the meth immediately.
Seriously.
You acknowledge that trans people are people.
Isn't that implicit in the fact that we included the word people?
No, these trans creatures.
Yeah.
They freaks.
Yeah, they're the freakish subhumans, yeah.
You know, I would never have a trans person on my show. Fuck every single one of them.
And thus deserve basic human respects. Congratulations! Now you're ready to learn how you can better support trans people as
I'm not under any obligation to support anyone. Please stop trying to instill me with this responsibility I have no interest in.
This is your moral duty, Agbon.
Yeah, it's not my moral obligation to quote-unquote support trans people. I think that it would be, it would behoove them to support themselves. Just like every other individual on the planet.
Sure.
Just saying. A marginalized community. Most of these tips could apply to supporting any marginalized community, but
and you don't see how that's a problem.
Yeah, it can directly apply to a lot of communities, but for some reason she made her video specifically about trans people.
Yeah, but she doesn't seem to see that there could be an implicit problem to a tool that can be used to anyone that you deem oppressed.
Yeah, and you know,
this is probably not a good or accurate tool.
I'm completely willing to have this conversation, not with people like this, obviously, and I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm an ally. I think there are some obstacles facing the trans community, at least here in the States. There are a couple things that are still happening, and you know, that's fine. Those can be tackled as time goes on. But really, the biggest obstacle is changing people's minds, which you can't do.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the argument being like, you know, people want to say that there are some problems with the way that the trans community is treated. Well, find me a society that's better.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't reach too far, because I'll tell you, there are some Thai ladyboys out there that are fine. And there are some indigenous tribal populations that have a third gender person that is used to moderate arguments between the sexes. But that's how far you have to reach. You have to reach to a single area in Southeast Asia and a small population of indigenous people, I believe in Africa.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between saying, oh, we have some small issues that we can address while still acknowledging America's a good place for trans people overall, then the argument like, oh my God, trans people are so oppressed here. They're marginalized.
Yeah, but that's my problem with the language. She uses the phrase marginalized constantly.
Yeah, and that's just not true.
It's just not. It simply is not. Your average person who everyone gets shit. I've caught shit for absolutely every aspect of my existence. If you happen to also be a transsexual, they will use that too.
Yes. And that goes into changing people's minds, changing social attitudes. Like, I agree, there's a lot of assholes out there who don't like trans people. Fuck those people. Fuck every last one of them. But what are you going to do? It's not like you can just make them think the way you want to. You have to deal with people who have different ideas.
Exactly. That's why we tend to limit our freedoms of speech due to violence and not anything else. If you can't incite violence, or if you can just be a dick. That is what the freedom of speech supports. I know these people hate hearing that. But being a dick is acceptable. And then you don't have to associate with them.
They need to take that piece of advice. Like, oh, you don't like when people are being a dick. Well, just be a dick back. You have this power too.
You do, and
they say fuck trans people. I say fuck them.
Yeah,
I have the same freedom of speech as these people.
Exactly, and it's only by presuming a shouting mob that doesn't exist. That's the thing, that it's persecution complex. These people believe that there's a shouting mob behind a single lunatic on Twitter.
Yes.
There's not. It's a single lunatic on Twitter with 23 followers. I would let it go.
This video specifically addresses how to be a better ally to trans people. First of all, being an ally is an uncomfortable position. Are you uncomfortable yet? How about now?
God.
You uncomfortable yet? You uncomfortable?
Oh,
You uncomfortable?
Jesus.
In order
Please stop.
Humor.
That was
the
the
ghost
worst.
of humor past.
Hey, are you guys uncomfortable? Hey guys, are you annoyed yet? Nah. Do you want to hear the
Basically.
most annoying sound of the world?
Yeah, that's basically where we're at, apparently.
In order to benefit the trans community, you must be active in your support. This means standing up for trans rights whenever it's safe for you to do so, and always
Oh, so when it's convenient, I see.
Well, not only that, I mean, fuck, are you serious? When it's safe to do so. Okay, when exactly let's just leave it to where you're specifically bringing up North America. Where exactly in North America is it unsafe to discuss transsexualism? Where is it unsafe? Where you can be, stomped out, fucking Nazi mob style? Where is this happening?
And I think this is a point to
The
make.
opposite can happen on a college campus, but that's not happening.
Every single person who I've ever known who is anti-trans is a pussy. They would never cause physical harm to anyone. No, it's not happening. It would never happen. It's not something to take seriously. But I do find it funny that she's like, well, it makes you kind of a shit ally. Like, look, I've got your back as long as this is safe.
Exactly.
Well, they don't really need your back, do they?
Yeah, you're not super helpful then, are you?
deconstructing your learned biases. All cisgender people are transphobic, just as all men hold misogynistic views.
Oh, fuck.
What a fucking
Oh,
cunt.
one of these. Are you going to admit that you're racist then, dear?
Yeah, you're. Oh snap! Oh wait, no, she has the female thing.
Is
going,
there any
and I
time
think
it doesn't matter? Because apparently it doesn't matter at all for the other aspects. So I'm assuming that it's the same, that all white people are racist, and you, my dear, are very white.
Yeah, she has to admit it.
You're exceptionally white, so I think that perhaps
Excellent.
it might be necessary for you to kowtow to your racism. I mean,
This is the white-splaining podcast.
white-splaining with Reese and Hackbar.
And all white people are racist.
Oh, well, maybe she will.
I've known that I'm trans for
But she's not going to acknowledge that she's racist. She just said it. She's just not going to acknowledge it.
She's trans, and I think she also said she's like bi or something. So that negates all of that. We've
No,
talked about
you're
that before.
a confused attention whore, nothing more.
Look, if I have some privilege, I have some oppression, and look, they just cancel each other out. Look, I'm fine.
It cancels out in the wash. It's fine.
I could do that too. I could like explore every minute detail of anything and be like, well, does this balance this out? Like, oh, I'm not straight, so but I'm also white and I'm also male. Like, what does this mean?
Exactly.
What kind of game are we playing?
5 years, and I still sometimes struggle with internalized transphobia.
Holy shit, this is magical, Reese. This is
you
the
know,
most
it's-
magical video you've delivered to me in a long time. This is amazing.
It's funny because
I may make a personal video about this. This is amusing.
I found this because Blair made a response to it.
I believe that. This is amazing. Holy shit.
Thoughts that maybe I am a freak, and what if cis gay people never find me attractive? If I
What if? Is that your...
What if?
Yeah, what
I
if?
mean, are you entitled to other people finding you attractive?
Yeah, it's like the video where the person was offended that someone said that they wouldn't even rape you. It's like, well, yeah, that's a good thing. You probably don't want to be targeted for rape. Or are you so
Yeah.
desperate for attention you would prefer to be raped?
And here's more of that, like, oh, I'm made to think like I'm a freak, and it must be internal. Like, no, it's because other people spread that idea around.
Or you do intentionally freakish things. I've known that about myself. Don't fucking act like this is impossible, that you could be going out of your way to get attention here. You identify as trans bisexual. You want attention. Let's just be frank. You learned this all from Tumblr and you want the attention. That's all this is. You're not committing anything here. You're not going through any surgeries. You're not going through any transition. You're attention seeking.
Yes.
It's very clear from the way she speaks that that's all this is.
She's trying to paint it this way, like, oh, look, I'm a trans person, but look, even I can be transphobic, so you cis people must be.
I love it. She still won't admit she's racist.
Oh yeah, she very carefully dodged that.
Yes, she will not admit her own racism here.
Ugh.
I've not been able to overcome my internalized transphobia in the 17 years that I've been living as a trans person, then I'm pretty sure you probably have some transphobic biases as well.
Does that mean she's 17 or in her middle 30s?
I really don't know.
She's got this like weird impish agelessness going on, but
she looks like a teenager to me.
yeah, she
I don't
does,
know.
but who knows? I've met 30-year-old women that looked like this. I used to buy weed from one. Literally looks just like this woman. Short hair, problem glasses, kind of hippie-ish, probably identified as bisexual.
Did she lecture you about your internalized transphobia?
No, she was a cool human being. You can't judge a book by its covers.
If you tell me that as a cisgender person, you are not transphobic, you are telling me not to trust you. By telling me...
Okay. That's on my
Oh.
profile, to be fair. I mean, I've made that abundantly clear. I'm not to be trusted, so...
Damn it! This woman doesn't trust me.
I am so shamed. I have no idea how to function in my life if this weird woman doesn't trust me.
Oh wait, shit! Is she male? Oh my god, maybe she's right. Internalized transphobia.
Internalized transphobia.
that you are not transphobic, you're telling me that you are unaware or choose to live in the dark about the way that we are socialized in a Western society. And
I love this that they all most of these people have been socialized to behave like this. This whole thing, a social movement, can only occur when you've been socialized to behave in this social movement.
It's complete projection, because they are indeed the ones who did societal engineering and basically brainwashed their drones to think certain ways. The people who are anti-transgender, I don't think that it's necessarily because of some large movement to make them feel that way.
No, it's to presume them to be the morally inferior is bizarre, and it's a projection of your own discomfort. Most people are, I mean, if you go to China as a white person, they're going to treat you weird. You're going to get gawked at. People will notice you. The same is true if you go to China as a black person. The same is true if you go to China and you have masculine features but choose to wear a long-haired wig, dress, and a makeup. This is a normal reaction. This is the norm statistically. This is the normal reaction. You have to be aware and understand that that's not going to shift. This is an aspect of human behavior. The best we can do, honestly, with most of these issues, we have to recognize the best your average citizen is going to do is no longer enact forms of intentional segregation, intentional oppression, or intentional violence. That's all you can ask for.
I'd say that there is a difference between, like, I wouldn't classify those things as bigotry necessarily. Those are just.
But these people would.
Yeah, but you can recognize differences between people. There are people who take it further in America. I'm not saying they're out, in mobs killing trans people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I read YouTube comment sections. I see horrible shit all the time.
Of course, but these are YouTube comment sections.
Sure,
cancer.
But I think they really are reflective of the mentality of people in our country. I think that we can act like that all day long. Oh, this is just the internet. People just go a little crazy. No, these are people's genuine opinions for the most part, except for a couple trolls.
Oh, sure, but the other aspect being a lot of these people eat meat and have never killed a cow. So it's all well and good to say you want something or these people deserve to be killed or, any of these other awful comments people make. These fucking cowards would never do anything. Gun in hand, they wouldn't be able to pull the trigger.
Yeah. We can finish this
These are
up.
just, there are subhuman people.
most disturbingly,
And it's not the transgenders.
telling me that you're not transphobic, you're telling me that you think you know everything there is to know about being trans, and that you think your allyship cannot be improved.
I think I'm not beholden to you. Am I required to be your ally?
In any way. I mean, I support groups and people out of my own volition.
Exactly. It's this manipulation that's going to throw more
Am I cutting
people.
out, Hagbard? I'm just
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay. It sounds like,
Now you're cutting
sometimes
out.
we'll just like start stumbling over each other and we kind of cut out. So yeah, the internet is complete shit. And I think we're done with her, I guess.
Yeah, we can finish that out.
Yeah,
again, it's
that
the
was
it's the
crazy.
guilting, it's the
Maybe we'll
constant
do-
emotional,
maybe we'll do
it's
one
the,
more
it's that
thing.
constant emotional manipulation that I find so offensive. It's really not the notion
Yeah,
of
like,
not.
you know
It's not
what?
the notion of not being supportive, or the notion of not. Obviously, don't go out and fag bash. I mean, come on, let's be serious. We should all be able to acknowledge that. But the idea that I'm required as a straight person to be your ally is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm required not to be an evil human being. That's pretty much all I'm required to do. Everything else is a choice.
Yeah, I support groups and people out of my own volition, and I would hope that people are thankful for that, because I really don't have to be a decent person.
No, nobody does.
I could be as shitty as I want.
Correct, and as long as
And
I
it's my
remain within the
choice.
law, it's completely fine.
Yeah, I'm looking. You know what? Let's do Batman v Superman, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh my,
that will be funny.
Hey guys, I
Yeah.
just heard something very upsetting. Now,
Oh, this is already
So
terrifying.
basically,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's
Yeah, this-
analyze
this is
this
from a
shot.
channel-
Yeah, well, before anything else, let's analyze this shot. We have in the background one of those particle board TV stands, a rear projection flat screen television. I mean, this is not a good scene. This is not a good set. This is not a good time at all. It looks like a permanent
A
mini
little-
Christmas tree.
a Charlie Brown.
Yes,
Charlie
a
Brown
permanent
Christmas
mini
tree.
Christmas tree. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. So what's this channel
Yeah,
about?
and look, his haircut. So his channel is Deflating Atheism.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real thing. And did you see Batman v Superman?
not.
Hagbard? Okay. Well, it's not important, but basically at one point there's a scene where people are watching the news and Neil deGrasse Tyson shows up. And he's just making some speech about how, I thought there was no purpose in the universe. I thought we were alone, but then we found Superman or whatever. That was
Yeah.
basically the gist of it. But apparently the Christian community was not happy about that. They've chosen to harp on it like, oh my God, how could he say that there was no purpose in the universe?
Well, and I would
And that's
argue,
what this
how
video
does
is.
Superman define our purpose? It's a weird statement in a
Yeah,
comic book movie, dude.
That's another point.
Yeah, it's just a weird
they're trying
statement in a
to-
comic
they
book
do a
movie.
lot of- They try to make Superman Jesus a little too much.
That's so weird.
now this is hearsay because I have not seen the movie, nor is it anything I would ever plan on seeing. But I have.
This is like the same kind of refutations I get. I didn't watch the video, but you're a shitlord. Like, what?
I wanted to make a video about this, but I'm not gonna watch the movie. Did you at least like BitTorrent the scene that this happened in? Like, what the fuck?
What a weird fucker.
have it on good authority
Bible's good authority to you.
from James Bishop, who is an excellent Christian apologist.
Jesus told me.
Yeah, Jesus said. Some dude with the last name of Bishop said.
Please like his Facebook page. I'm going to link it down below. I've actually been badgering him to create his own YouTube channel, but James Bishop went out and saw Batman versus Superman, or Superman versus Batman, or whatever it is. It's a critically reviled movie, although James actually quite enjoyed it.
It's just a garbage movie from what I've heard. Regardless of the Neil deGrasse Tyson othering and all this shit, it's just a trash movie from what I've heard.
I thought it was okay. It had its highlights, but overall pretty a clusterfuck. I
Pretty
think it's fair to
mediocre
say.
at best, huh?
Yeah. Ben Affleck was not good, by the way.
Shocking.
But he said at one point in the movie, they actually wheel out Neil deGrasse Tyson to give us...
Neil deGrasse. Someone watches Canadian television. Someone watches
Oh.
Canadian TV. Degrassi.
His usual bad philosophy.
They wheeled him out like Drake. They wheeled him out like Drake was in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
in
like what the
Degrassi.
fuck? You racist. You just related a black man to another black man, Mr. Video Maker. You racist.
I'm sorry.
Spiel about how we know the universe is meaningless because of Darwinism or whatever. Neil deGrasse Tyson's hypocrisy is just disgusting. He insists on making these ignoramus proclamations about philosophy.
Does he think that's a real statement?
Like a completely. That was a natural statement from it. Ignoramus proclamations. I'm sure he says that all the time.
But
he looks like the type.
I have to know, does he think that the line he said in the Superman and Batman movie was real? Does he think that's like a firmly held belief?
No, it's obviously maybe he does because he's a moron. It's obviously fake.
No, Neil deGrasse Tyson actually thinks Superman,
He's talking about Superman.
a fictitious character, is the meaning in the universe. You lunatic. I mean, I know that you have trouble
He's
segmenting
crazy.
reality from fantasy, but most of us know that that was a movie.
Yeah, they brought him in because it's a cameo,
And because
they're trying to
he's a
add some
beloved
realism
person.
to the movie.
He's a beloved character, that's all. Not particularly beloved by me, but he is a beloved character.
And then whines when people call him out on it.
Hold on. I have it on authority that the 90s called and they don't want this guy or his house back.
He literally looks like he hasn't made a purchase since 1999.
Oh god, look at that. Screen cap that face.
There's a fucking
That is
CD
not
rack
fair.
behind him.
It was scented candles on top.
Fuck me.
He says he has no interest in philosophy, but he insists on pontificating on philosophical matters. So my advice is just
Degrassi Tyson, he's always pontificating on philosophical matters. He should really leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, like Sam Harris?
Yeah, no, like this guy.
No.
This guy, he would say the same thing about Sam Harris. Who's this Sam Harris? Who does he think he is? Oh, I see. Neuroscientist. Why don't you stop talking about foreign policy, Sam?
I love when people just say he's a neuroscientist without having done enough research to realize that he took several years of philosophy courses before realizing that philosophy turned to neuroscience to make discoveries, to make definitions. So he just stepped beyond philosophy and decided to go for neuroscience. He is a philosopher. Most people just don't understand that.
It's like stay in your lane. Like, look, Sam Harris, this is what you're allowed to talk about. Thunderfoot, why are you talking about feminism?
I love
Stick to
stay in your
chemistry, you
lane.
nerd.
That is such a phrase that's been spread around insanely. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, dog.
Again, if I said it, it would be racist. Hey, black guy, stay in your lane. Don't come into my white neighborhood. Stay in your lane. That's something that,
Neil
that would be...
deGrasse Tyson, stay in your lane.
Yeah,
Go back to the ghetto.
That would be questioned, I'm just saying. Very firmly questioned.
not this horse shit. The movie's probably gonna bomb because supposedly it's a turkey anyway, but we don't need to be told in
No, man, it's a camel. It's not a turkey, it's a camel. It was made by committee, just like all the new Marvel movies, which is why they're trash, because they're taking all these other people's input. They've never been genius films, but they were at least true to the form. Now they've become utter and absolute garbage, because they're camels. They're horses made by committee.
I don't see how anyone could even say it bombed though. Like, it made a shitload of money.
Well,
They're
got
gonna make
nothing but
another one.
roundly negative reviews. No one,
Sure.
no one gave it positive reviews online.
Yeah, and as much as it's not a great film, I do disagree with a lot of those reviews. I think that they went out of their way to nitpick a lot and not really, I think that most people who sat down and watched it could enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you're going out of your way to poke holes in it, of course you could do that with any movie though.
I agree. I'm gonna eject this guy.
Yeah.
You've been ejected,
That's enough
friend.
of him. I don't know.
It's been about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we had a little a little lapse. We could, you know what? We're gonna do one more. This is a short one though. It's the D-Ray one on the far right. This
Do you
is the
dream
AJ
in
Plus
tweets?
video that I've been meaning to get to.
Oh, this is him, and that the way he sits kills me. He sits like he's been castrated.
Yeah, look.
He does. He sits like he's been castrated, dude.
Well, he has.
He has. It's disturbing.
He's at AJ Plus.
He sits like someone has actually taken physically his testicles away.
This woman did. Just before they started recording.
Do you dream in tweets?
Is that the question?
Yeah.
I love it.
Hilarious.
Couldn't be gayer.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Yes, we get it. We get
Do
it,
you
D-Ray.
dream in tweets?
Again, I will pay. Will pay.
So basically,
I will pay to get D-Ray McInnes to the what is it, the Uhuru movement, and see if him or was it Black Hitler, either one of them, go up to these Black Power groups that think that they're the cancer, and I'd love to see that play out. That the gayness is a white thing. So yeah, have fun with that one.
We same gender loving.
Yeah, that's why he had to do that. You know that, right? He had to invent something that wasn't
Oh,
gay
yeah.
because there's a whole movement within the Black Power community that essentially wants to eliminate gay people. It's lovely.
Well, yeah. There's the black community is notoriously homophobic.
Yeah, virulently homophobic.
What is the Black Lives Matter movement if you had to make an elevator pitch to an ignorant society?
Yeah, the movement began in Ferguson in August 2014. It's focused on ending police violence, state violence.
Wait, did it? I thought it started in Florida. I'm gonna have to look into that. I could have swore the original Black
Just your
Lives
white
Matter.
privilege.
Yeah, I could have swore the Black Lives Matter movement started in California and Florida. I'm gonna have to look into that.
And undoing the impact of the legacy of racism in this
I guess
country.
that's where they became extremely popular. They're the
Yeah.
Ferguson thing, I suppose, is a more accurate point.
But I could have
like
swore
the
it
way
literally
this is
started
worded,
with
too,
Trayvon
like, It was
Martin.
designed to. Yeah, but I guess they go back to that sometimes, but I don't know if it was around. Then.
And what's beautiful about
I like his wording here because it's like, our movement is here to combat, police violence, state violence, shit. Am I coming through? Akbar?
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
making Sure.
It dropped for a second, but we're clean now.
Okay. I feel like we've been having a lot of problems.
Yeah, mostly it's the
But I
voice
guess we-
coming through. But what are you gonna do? We may need to find a service besides Skype.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's led by people from all across the country, young people who've risen up and are working to end
Started by middle-aged women.
structural and institutional racism.
I saw you on Colbert, and you were talking to him about white privilege. How would you define it?
When I think about white privilege, it is an understanding that white is normative, white is the standard, and that confers with this so many benefits that when you think about what does it mean to have a Band-Aid that's skin color, it's not my skin, it is someone
that
else.
says a lot more about you, doesn't it?
Yes, it says a lot about your
That says a lot.
inferiority complex.
White people are normal. Like, really, process that statement. What are you saying? No, that sounds like something I'd see on Stormfront. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, this is his internalized issues that I love to constantly
That's
point out.
terrible.
Yeah, D-Ray's laughable. I can't believe he's famous.
So when we talk about white privilege, we talk about these things that are unearned by individuals, but benefits that are conferred by society.
Do you think reverse race?
Okay.
Note
what
he
the
didn't
fuck?
actually
What have I
explain
earned?
anything.
What have I earned from being white exactly?
You ain't being killed by the police in the streets, dog.
Oh yeah, my life and safety. Thank you. I needed to earn those.
Yeah, that's 100% because you white. It's not because you ain't out there committing crime. Nah.
Maybe I should try. Maybe that's going to be a scientific test for
Don't.
the Nightmare Fuel podcast.
Do
I'm
not.
going to go out.
I have already run this experiment in my entire life. There was no white privilege. Do not. Do not. They will throw you in prison just as fast as a black man. Trust me.
Get caught and be like, hey guys, now can I cash in my white privilege now?
Yeah, can I get that white privilege check, please?
Get out of jail free white privilege card.
Seriously.
Racism is a thing?
Oh, you're okay. You're a white guy. Good. What are we doing, guys? Let him go. Take the cuffs off.
Wait. You're arresting a white criminal? No, this is ridiculous. Let him go.
Put him on the horse.
Says no cop in any trailer park ever.
You know, racism is about power, and racism is about the exercise of power to disadvantage people because of race. And when we think about reverse racism, it is...
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It's just an absurd
It's all
notion.
about, it's all about power. Institutions, stuff like that.
Well, it's these
Doesn't
guys
have any-
conflate the concept that there's institutional power with the concept that there can't be instances of individual power, which are the actual problem.
Yes, racism is situational. It is not, it's not this Jim Crow standard anymore. But they like to act like it is.
It hasn't been for years.
Suggested that people of color, people without power, are disadvantaging white people with power.
People without power. Obama has no power. Remember this. The entire cabinet of Baltimore has no power. Remember that.
It's more of that internalized racism.
It's not my fault that you're a whipping boy.
People of color, pretty powerless. That's what I think when I think people who are not white.
Yeah, well, we can see you feel powerless, D-Ray.
Powerless.
We can see that. You feel powerless. That's very clear. You look powerless.
Even though he talked to Stephen Colbert, completely powerless.
Completely powerless.
And that cannot happen. Racism itself at its core is about the use of power to oppress or to damage or a negative exercise of power. And people without power cannot be racist.
Some of the tactics that...
The sincerity with which he says some of this shit is amazing. The look on that face, just like, it just can't happen. It's not real. Is not. Can't be. Like a religious person.
Look,
it's a religion to these people.
I can't be racist, dog. Come on.
Activists have taken up in the Black Lives Matter movement, like shutting down the Bay Bridge, for example, recently here in the Bay Area, have been criticized by a lot of people, have been seen as inconvenient by a lot of people. What's your response to that?
I think often that their convenience will return, that they will be able to drive across that bridge another day, that they will be able to go home quickly another day. And I think about Tamir.
Yeah, because no one has ever experienced something negative from being held up, right? There's not a chance that there was an ambulance caught in there or some cops that you stopped from actually stopping crime, or someone got fired because they were held up and late for work, or someone got fined because they couldn't go pick their child up from daycare on time. Most daycare centers have a closing time. And you get fined substantial amounts of money, hundreds of dollars for being late. But, they can afford that because, you got Fifi's hurt.
Because of white privilege. Hagbard, enough with your white-splaining. I'm gonna lay this down. As an honorary trans person of color, I'm gonna correct you.
An honorary trans midget of color.
Maybe all those people should have acknowledged the movement.
Yeah.
Trans midget of color. Excuse me, I prefer person of size, Hagbard. So
you're a fat midget.
Maybe those people should have acknowledged. Oh, I see. More white-splaining from Hagbard Celine. Just talking over a marginalized, oppressed person of color. I'm not even a man. I'm a person. I'm gender neutral here as well. No, maybe those people should have acknowledged Black Lives Matter, Hagbard. Maybe they should have just given in.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't have had to protest.
Exactly, because we know that's what happened when Bernie gave in. They just left. They were like, "See, he's acknowledged it. We're good," and then they just left.
Oh, this is madness.
Rice, who will never go home again. I think about Mike Brown, who will never go home again.
Bad examples.
I think about Ayanna Jones.
You mean criminals?
Mm-hmm.
Criminals who attack the police.
Well, I think Tamir Rice was the kid with the gun.
Oh, yeah.
But that has happened since time immemorial, and guess what? I, as a white child, was told by my parents not to take toy guns outside, because the cops will fucking shoot you. Don't do it. Don't be a dodo. Don't carry an airsoft gun around. Just don't do it. It's not that hard.
That's the really sad thing about Black Lives Matter, because sometimes they will point out legitimate police brutality issues, but then they always make it about race. It's like, I'm on your guys' side, But then you bring that up, it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not on your side. Sorry.
Yeah, but they don't need you to be an ally. They
We're
need
so
you to be a
close.
slave. They need you to be a human cuckold. They need you to be a cock sleeve for them to use as a weapon. They can't afford for you to just be like, okay, I understand that police brutality is bad. No, but it's about black police brutality. It's like I've watched a gentleman be escorted in a less than scrupulous way down a hallway, and he was white. So explain to me how white privilege helped that convict. Because it didn't.
I am an honorary trans cock sleeve for Black Lives Matter.
There you go.
Pearly, and Trayvon, and so many other people who will never go home again. So that is what I think of.
It's an election season. When you look at the candidates right now, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm not supporting anybody. When I think about Bernie Sanders, I think
Well, that's because you're an anarchist. We all know that.
his
I mean, he
platform is broad, ranging, covers a host of issues. The question that remains with him is how does he plan to implement them, and what does he
Bernie
prioritize?
Sanders, he doesn't specifically, he hasn't made Black Lives Matter the gemstone of his movement. What he's covering is just too broad. He's actually trying to cover real issues. So fuck
Yeah,
him,
issues that affect
basically.
more than approximately 13% of the U.S. population.
Oh, he's concerned about the economy. Who gives a fuck about the
Yeah,
economy?
we don't need
Black Lives
economic
Matter.
recovery. We need economic recovery for the black community.
Oh, but that's not racist. That's progressive. That's enlightened. I
Fucking big
forgot.
bag of idiots over here.
When we think about Hillary, she has gone deep on a few issues and has not covered a whole range of issues. And she needs to have a more expansive platform if she is going to adequately address issues of criminal justice.
And what about Trump?
Neither have addressed issues of the racial wealth gap, and they need to. So that is how I think of them. I think O'Malley.
Yeah, Hillary, you need to do this.
We're not going to get any Republican candidate review, are we?
Needs to help us understand how his zero tolerance policing strategy as mayor of Baltimore reconciles with his now seemingly progressive platform at the presidential level.
It's because he watched The Wire, and then he thought back and he was like, oh,
That didn't work.
Jeez,
God.
you should have just let him sell crack.
I fucking hate AJ Plus.
Obviously, what we should have done in Baltimore was just let them sell crack. I actually support that. I'm not even being facetious. Just let them sell crack. Fuck it.
I believe in legalizing drugs.
I don't even care.
Wait.
I just don't.
What you need to do is you need to make murder legal. Then the black crime stats just disappear.
Then they plummet.
And rape can be legal as well.
And there we go.
All right. I think we're gonna end it there. But it was a good show.
Yeah, I think
hope
that's a
everyone
wrap.
joins
Aside
us.
from our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted out. We'll
No,
figure
we
something
won't.
out.
Don't lie
But,
to the people.
Join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be having Poisoning the Well on the show. We're going to do a little interview with them and watch more wonderful videos. But thank you to
Indeed.
Hagvard for running this shit
Yep.
as well as we could. Thank you to our chat. We had some pretty cool people show up.
Yeah, it's been good
We'll
fun.
see you all. Yeah, we'll see you all next time.
Bye.